Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and tonight I've got for you guys some RTS League games. I've got 5 of them. As we can see on the screen, it's WKTA versus SOEE, DoDA versus JSS, which unfortunately is just one game because the second was saved and restored, so I can't watch that recorded game. And then the third match is DoDA versus UCA. So 5 matches between these 3 teams, which are competing for the top 3 in Division 1, and the top 3 move on to the playoffs, and fourth on down don't. So of these 4 teams we've got on this screen, all of which are pretty good, minus, well, 4 teams is WKTA, DoD, JSS, UCAB. Those 4 are competing for the top 3. SOEE kind of out, but they could potentially play spoiler, which is why I've thrown them in to start off the night. So WKT versus SOEE. A little bit later on, I'll go over kind of the standings. But for now, we will go into and start our first game of the night, which is WKTA versus SOEE. By default, these games are 3v3, but we could have a couple 2v2 depending on if the clans agree to that. So Blossom Goose, oh yes, is ready apparently. And so am I. So let us get into WKTA versus SOEE 1. Game number 1. So we are starting off with a 2v2 on Marsh. This is a great map to start our games off with. So Chemo and Magic did 1v1. I didn't see it. I'll probably watch it later. But we've got Luyendula down here, and he is set. Luyendula, typically an Egyptian player, and his ally is Sun Tzu, who is Loki. Sun Tzu and Luyendula, both pretty good players. Don't know if they play a ton of team games, though, and they typically play the extended edition, not the original, which does kind of tie into this a little bit. Now, on the other hand, we've got WKTA up on the top. We've got Ulysses as Zeus, and then Kushiro Izumi, who is also known as Loose Kid, I do believe, is Uranus. So Zeus Uranus versus Set Loki on Marsh. And we've got quite a few aggressive gods. Zeus will be aggressive, Uranus aggressive. The Loki will be aggressive. The Set kind of like a pseudo-aggressive, like maybe we'll be aggressive early with a early shift, and then we'll probably try to grab like a town center, which is like one like this, which secures just a ton of hunt. That's a lot of hunt. Holy cow, right all around there. But yeah, Marsh is a kind of an open map. Slightly. I mean, the middle will be open, the sides won't be. So like the middle is kind of pretty open, but trying to get into the sides is pretty much closed off. We see these little rivers, though you could, and occasionally you do see kind of a surprise transport with like a back build, which actually isn't a bad idea once things get going late and say things kind of stack up in the middle. You could get some damage done with kind of a surprise back build. Don't know if that will ever come into play here, but we shall see. Really important to take a look at the relics, especially because we have a Loki who'd be looking for the faster hero relic. Caravans are cheaper, move faster. Now that is a solid relic too for the late game, and increases the attack of rams, scarabs, and such. Our third relic, Eye of Ornlu, not too important. We do have a bolt on a priest, which is very good. The early bolt on the priest prevents the conversion of animals. Looks like the priest only converted 1 boar, and then pow, he was killed. And our other relic here, what do we? Town center provide more population. It's pretty solid. Oh, boots of kick everything, and I talked about it. Here it is. Improves hero speed. If Sun Tzu can get that, his Herseer will be even faster. Let's see if they have that scouted, though. They do. So they do have that relic scouted. I would think that Sun Tzu will try to probably get out a very early Herseer to grab that relic, but WKT could play spoiler, and they do have line of sight of that relic as well. There is one more relic. Actually, a couple more, actually. Heroes do more damage to myth units. That's also nice for the Loki. And Thundercloud Shawl, human soldiers more resistant to Pierce Armor. And then Pelt of Argus, line of sight for all units. We've actually got a overall, a pretty good collection of relics. I think a lot of times players kind of undervalue relics, but we've got quite a few good relics in this game. So we'll see a lot of aggression. The Greek kind of has a decision as far as whether he'd go up Hermes or Athena. Hermes with the ceasefire, Athena with the restoration. We'll likely see Hermes because of the enemy Loki will have a flaming weapons, and the ceasefire, you'd want to be able to stop that. Kind of surprised he isn't making a classical age hero though. To grab some of these pretty powerful relics. Like I would, if I were him, go for this relic right away, because you get these Loki player with the faster Herseer, and that can be tough. In fact, that's really the main thing to keep an eye out for early on, is to see who gets that. And Luyandula is up 406. That's very fast. Looks like he is trying to do a shift somewhere. And right on these Vills, but a little bit out of position. Wasn't quite able to path block them. So he is not going to be able to kill them, actually. Which is does hurt. I mean, it sends them back to the base, but not killing any citizens is kind of a fail shift in a way. Probably could have path blocked. He was a little bit off with his shift and needed to shift his animals here ahead of the citizen, and then he could potentially have killed both of them, at least one for sure. But since he didn't path block them, the citizens are just able to run safely to the tower and then back to the base. And Kushiro Uzumi is reacting with double counter barracks. So we'll be going a lot of Terma. Typically we'll see the set player now grab a town center. And we did get... Who grabbed that relic? Somebody grabbed that relic. Is it this Herseer here is running back? He is. So we do have the Herseer that did get that relic for the faster heroes. We'll see as soon as that drops off if they get a little bit faster. Hall of Thanes later on. Dark Risen, hello. You're just in time for game 1, 2v2. WKTA versus SOEE. What relic did this guy get? Line of sight of units is actually pretty helpful. We did see him go up with the Centaur as well for Hermes for that later ceasefire. Oh, I gotta watch out. The Herseer ran right by. I didn't see. And yes, so the early town center grab. We'll see how Kushiro reacts to that. Yeah, I can't get a lot of value attacking here. So it's almost beneficial for him in a way to ignore the set completely and to come down here and get on Sun Tzu and kind of do a double. Chemo and Thylex did play. They had a show match tonight, $125 show match. I won't spoil the results for you. You can watch Magic stream later. Unfortunately, I was going to record or stream those games, but there were too many observers, so the games are invalid, so you can't actually watch the recordings. We have actually Yuli has completely chased these few Herseer all the way across the map, and needs to try to get in on Sun Tzu's Eco, who has a nice wall here, very nice wall, and it's just so hard for him to catch up. We have the Hall of Thanes Herseer with the plus 1.1 speed, the Boots of Kick Everything, which is a plus 0.4 speed, along with Loki's default boost, which is 0.4 speed. And yeah, renamed to Thylex, that would be awesome. So a little bit of good micro here by Sun Tzu, and he can absolutely smash Ulis, who is kind of out of position. Teal, I believe, is Lou's kid. I do believe that's who Teal is, pretty sure. And yeah, we can see him. He is picking off these units who are out of position and trying to get at that last. Toxotes does get it and might get this one too. Troll spawning, kind of a low value miss spawn in a way. And then we'll run from over here. And now we have Kushiro looking for something to raid. Actually could sit on this gold mine. It's not protected by any towers. And Sun Tzu coming in with kind of a mass number of Hersier here. Trying to get some attacks in. We'll want to try to find Yuli's Eco, which is way in the back, but also has a wall. Do note these walls, this wall and this wall, very good. Additionally protecting the base. And yeah, we see him just sitting on this gold mine, killed one Vil, and made the others go idle. And Luyendula will have to probably mine from this gold mine. So actually Kushiro runs over here, which he is. He's going to be able to do a lot of damage, actually a lot more than what you would probably normally see against an Egyptian. He doesn't even know. But he actually forces all these Vils. Well, I guess they're almost going to be done anyway. Well, they're coming back to the piggies. But knowing that there's no villagers mining here, should probably realize that they're mining somewhere. What do we got up here? Nice aggression on this wood line here. Does have spy, which is giving him line of sight. Sun Tzu knows that this army is coming and looking for the Vils, which are way in the corner. So Ulysses ran his Vils all the way to the corner. Yeah, Red does have a really good second town center, but his army is out of position. There's no reason for him to be going aggressive. He just needs to be sitting on his economy. And Sun Tzu will have to run all the way back through the base. Not really a big deal. And has forced, though he didn't find a kill. I mean, these were idle for a very long time. And Luyendula is actually getting a kill on a citizen. And is pushing back down here with some Vili power and Spearman power. But now he doesn't have anything for the proms. I'd almost like to see... Ooh, trying to get this town center. But don't think he'll be able to. Sun Tzu would probably get more value out of just aging up right now. And Kushiro very bold right here to gather hunt. And oh, one more shot. No, just survives. And oh, this is a very bad fight for Sun Tzu. I don't know why he's taking this. Losing his entire army. And he might end up kind of winning this, but taking a straight up trade, and actually, yeah, he's not winning it. That was a terrible fight for Sun Tzu to take. I don't know why he fought that. Like, your whole goal as Loki, early game, is to just provide pressure with your army and not really take any army fights and age up faster. So this was a terrible fight for him to take. That was disastrous. And Ulysses, knowing that he has the advantage, is going to continue to push and might push all the way down to this next town center, which if he can prevent that would be gigantic for him. And he's unfortunately chasing this hearse here, which is maybe a bit of like a decoy. Yeah, of all civs too, you don't want to fight Zeus. The Greek units are just so strong. I don't know why he took that. I mean, he has the relics to run faster. You could just run away, come up here, provide pressure on Kushiro's back build. And now, because he lost so many Hersier, he has to rebuild his army. And that is really slowing down his upgrade to Heroic Age. Like, the Heroic Age is the huge push, where if, like, Luyendula could kind of keep Kushiro busy, Sun Tzu could age up to Heroic and get a Flaming Weapons push on the back because his units are so much faster. And yeah, he is getting trolls. I did notice he is even getting the upgrade as well. That is unusual. Luyendula needs to be very careful. He's out of position. A very good shockwave can really hurt him. I don't know why actually they aren't just collapsed on this, they being WKT. But could have. The shockwave could have done quite a bit of damage. And we see Kushiro is coming for another raid. Kushiro does have a town center as well, a second town center, to match Luyendula's boom. Luyendula so far has been able to boom pretty decently. But his eco is a complete wreck. I don't know why he's gathering so much gold. I I don't know why he is gathering. I mean, look at how much gold he has. And he has like Hunt right here. I don't know what these vills are gathering gold for. And the hit and run with the Terma, even though the spears can kind of keep up. And Sun Tzu with another raid, trying to get in. Yeah. And Kushiro's up very quickly with Thea, and Ulysses up as well, also with Dionysius. So 2 very quick advances for both of them. Meanwhile, we have Luyandula still firmly stuck in Age 2. And might not come to play, but I don't know why also he's like gathering from this hunt when he has all of this right here. And you're right, the Herser fight completely wrecked Green's momentum for sure. Kushiro can still put in some damage down here. Barracks units just being so slow. Like now, see, this is... He's hunting in the wrong spot. He's got half his army up here. You can't... This is not how Set should be playing. To the point where actually Sun Tzu has to come back and help out his buddy, which he will actually get a really good surround in on these Terma. But... And as I said, he is getting some value out of this, but raiding with this entire army is just so slow. I mean, you can raid with a few spears, but the entire rest of the army raiding just isn't good. To the point where now Luyandula again can't hunt. I mean, he could be if he's hunting off of this, but we've now got a pretty big fight here. The Zeus might be a little bit too far now, and actually we have got 4 trolls coming in, and yeah, the Zeus has to retreat because it's essentially kind of a 2-on-1 here. And the Set is trying to pressure up here, but yeah, I mean, just like single units getting pushed off time after time. We got more idle villagers. Generally, as a Set, what you do is you get your forward town center, and if you're going to fight Classical Age, you kind of just like sit on your town center with your army. That way, like, you can just continue to... I mean, let's just look at all the resources he has here. Like, he could 3 town center, sit right here with his army, and just defend forever. Trying to do some raids. Kuchiro might be aging up, actually. He is. Kushiro is already aging up with Hikate. Sun Tzu is aging up now with Bragi. It's pretty standard. Ulysses getting eco upgrades as well. Got pretty solid eco upgrades. Set player trying to push, but he's kind of, because he's been losing so many units, is still in Age 2. And probably has, yeah, I mean, his eco is just like way offline. He's got 800 gold and counting. No, I would agree with that, Dark Risen. I feel like Luyandula sometimes plays well, and other times like plays pretty bad. And so far, this game, I'd say not really playing very well. And Sun Tzu so far pretty decent. Just the only thing was he took that one bad fight, but that one bad fight can really cost a lot. And now we have the Tart Gate there. We've got this barracks army again, just out of position, just getting absolutely shredded. And now this barracks army will come down probably too late and will also get shredded. Hersier coming down to get on here. Nice to, maybe a little bit poor location for the Tartarian Gate. Right next to a bunch of vills, kind of kills it right away. Don't get a ton of value out of it, especially with the Hersier trolls that come down. And the Hersier up here, we're kind of playing distraction for a while. So we do see teal and blue with the slight score lead. If Luyandula could ever get rolling, we could see them coming back, but still not aging up. He's farming when he has like all of this hunt, like still accessible. Like, I mean, this is a ton of hunt that he could just be farming, or not farming, hunting from, but he's not. And still fighting a ton of barracks units, which slingers do okay as long as they're not slinging at destroyers. Like if he could pick off the Arcus, which really die really fast. And again, we see this just another slow barracks army that's just getting destroyed. I mean, just no point. I mean, Luyendula's kill-death ratio is just probably completely awful in this game. What he set still has a very strong boom. So could still do something late game. And is now aging up. Are Herseers worth it? Yeah. Now why can't I scroll? There we go. Yeah, I would do Herseers a decent amount because, I mean, he does have all of the upgrades. But the problem is you can't really fight straight up. The pure Herseer works when you're still running around, like, doing back builds. And we have the bronze. Not a super high value bronze. There's actually not a lot of army here for Ulysses. I mean, these slingers, it would be nice if they were microed and to get in on these Arcus. But there's not been just one iota of micro from these slingers. Which doesn't in the end matter for the fight because Ulysses really had nothing there. And with that fight, the wasted bronze, we do see Sun Tzu taking the lead. He's actually got, this is a massive army of trolls. Huge army of trolls. And Sun Tzu with that fight might be able to take this forward town center. Kushiro putting a lot of resources into the Age 4. Just hurting him a little bit. But yeah, with all these trolls, as long as they aren't all shooting at... and oh, that was a pretty solid ceasefire. Will allow Ulysses to get that town center, but can't block flaming weapons. So it depends on what you value your ceasefire for. Is it worth it to do ceasefire to get your town center and allow a flaming weapons? I think it might be better this way, so long as Sun Tzu has to use flaming weapons to take this town center. Because then the ceasefire and flaming weapons will kind of cancel out anyway. Whereas if he wouldn't have cast ceasefire, he wouldn't have gotten this town center. And then the fight would be like up here with flaming weapons. Does he have Hera? Did he age up? Oh, he did age up. He's got Lightning Storm. So we'll probably see a Flaming Weapons here and then a Lightning Storm. Maybe. He might have to... Doesn't have a lot of heroes, though. And both of them are holding on to their... Though these trolls got absolutely wrecked, though, on the bottom by the hero. Now we have Lightning Storm. And Green's army has disappeared. It looks like he's just saving flaming weapons. And meanwhile, I completely missed this. We had Teal just coming down here and destroying Sun Tzu's back town center. Sun Tzu with the huge myth spam, though. Luyendula is really letting his teammate down. Like, crazy letting it down. Like, he's just so far behind by just poor play. Like, it really wasn't anything that the opponents did. It's just Luyendula just being completely incompetent to the point where he might allow both of his both base town centers of his ally to go down. Does he have... Ooh, no... Building upgrades does also hurt. And yeah, Sun Tzu is going to lose both his town centers in the base, which really hurts his push. And we have a tornado. Oh no, if that siege tower would have just gotten one shot in. And this is forcing the ancestors just to try to kill this. How much hit points does it have? I can't see. This ancestors will finish. It must have like 5 hit points left. So the ancestors finish that. We still got these Arcus down here being annoying, and if they kill that ox cart, that's actually pretty big. Oh, that is big. Wow. The closest ox cart is up here. That's really gonna hurt Sun Tzu's eco. And Luyendula is up Mythic. They are up Town Centers. But, oh, this Town Center not quite built. Oh my goodness, that's big. And now Bellerophon's going to come in and probably wreck. And we have a Medusa. Ooh, and now we have a very low value flaming weapons. Oh my goodness, that is an incredibly low value flaming weapons. He's only got like 6, 7 Hearse here. He will win the fight, so maybe it's worth it. But it's mainly a flaming weapons just to kind of maintain this position. But no, all that got nerfed for Bellerophon was the time that it takes for his recharge for his special. He might not have any armory upgrades. Yeah, he doesn't have any armory upgrades, which is probably why it looks so bad. Because not a single armory upgrade. So Sun Tzu does have this town center grabbed. And a little bit of a problem with these trade routes here. That's also another bad thing about this town center going down is Luyendula had a lot of idle trade. And quite the push up here, though. But still just way too many Slinger. I mean, you can make Slinger if you micro them, but Slinger versus Destroyer and Fanatic, you're not getting any value out of that. So, don't quite see the purpose of that. But he is still pushing, and we see kind of the set, even though Luyendula hasn't played so well most of the game. Still doing in a pretty good position just because that set boom is pretty strong, and Kishiro did spend a lot of resources aging up quickly, and for some reason we have this migration across the map. I don't know if he's trying to get this gold mine or what. And Sun Tzu is pushed back. Man, this game is in the balance. Sun Tzu has no economy though. Kind of the after effects of having his town centers destroyed. Like he needs food from Luyendula, who does not have food either. And Luyendula trying to do just kind of a push here. Really what he should do, if he can, is get these 2 fortresses down, grab this town center, and then come over and fight Ulysses. Because even though Sun Tzu has the score lead right now, he's in a pretty precarious spot just based on his economy. Yeah, they are like, blue is mining over here. And teal is mining over here. Like, they just swapped gold mines. Very strange. But yeah, I don't know if Luyendula can push through here. Do we have, what kind of god powers do we have left? Absolutely nothing. So no god powers. Kushiro Izumi has no economy either. And actually, it's kind of coming to who can push through faster. Can Ulysses get Sun Tzu faster, or can Luyendula defeat Kushiro faster? And it's actually pretty close. Ulysses probably has a pretty huge eco. Does have almost all the eco upgrades. His trade route is okay. Who ended up getting the faster trade relic though? Did nobody? There was that faster trade relic, but I don't... Right here? Oh man, that is a huge relic, and nobody's got it. Yeah, you're right. The momentum is kind of going back and forth. But this is going to be a hard push for Sun Tzu to stop. I mean, we got Myrmidons that will be soon fully upgraded, along with an extra 5 hit points. We've got a little bit of a build here. Ulysses likes to do this, and it's very good. And Luyendula needs to stop the push up here. Just grab this town center and come over, because this is how they lose, is the Ulysses push. And just auto-queuing barracks units that are so poorly upgraded just isn't going to help up here. I mean, these birds can last forever here, and actually we see Luyendula's getting beaten back, despite having a 3-2 town center, and Kushiro having a pretty poor economy. But Luyendula also has a 1,400 gold, but his upgrades, at least, well, he doesn't have the second pickaxe upgrade. doesn't even have his trade caravan upgrade. His trade route is, I mean, why it's here and not like way up here also is a little bit questionable. But this is where they'll lose. If SOEE does lose, is this really heavy Zeus push against the Sun Tzu Loki player who had his economy completely shredded on the back end. And we've got Luyendula still massing Slinger against not a single ranged unit at all. Like why these Slinger are still being made is anybody's guess. And Sun Tzu is feeling the effects of the Zeus push. Sun Tzu still just has nothing for eco. I mean, no food coming in, and he kind of needs that. They did kill all those Villies there. But what Luyendula needs to do is just fortify this up and come over and attack here. Because Sun Tzu is actually pretty close to folding, I feel like. His Fire Giants they're gone. Bellerophon slowly killing them all. Sun Tzu slowly getting all of his armory upgrades. Forward building towers. And Luyendula is going to try to do this push through, and he doesn't have upgraded siege. He has Slingers essentially wasting population. Everything's just shooting at the palace here. Like they aren't even like hitting the Villies or anything. So that's I can't watch it. And yeah, this Sun Tzu just can't keep up with the pressure. Bellerophon's still alive too. Sun Tzu's armory is actually a solid. Wow, that is good. He's got good upgrades as opposed to his Egyptian ally who can't even find the caravan upgrade. And doesn't have any building HP upgrades. And is making siege towers when he could like be putting a catapult right here to kill that. You know, you wall that off and then your catapult is safe. So I'm not quite sure. I think Luyendula is just like leaving everything on auto queue. Sun Tzu is holding a little bit longer than I expected, actually. And we have Luyendula now building a Migdol. It's a little bit forward though. I don't know if he'll quite get it off. And oh, Luyendula lost his forward town center. Has a lot of resources. Like I don't know why he isn't getting like siege upgrades, transitioning to like spearmen would be pretty solid. He went up with Tornado, which gives a ton of spearmen upgrades, and instead he's like doing some sort of strange priest slinger combo. He's more vills coming down. Yeah, that first Migdol didn't get up, did it? And these throwing axemen are chasing Bellerophon all the way to the back. Could get in on the catapults though, which would be of some value if you were to get all 4 catapults, but instead they are contending themselves with Bellerophon. And we actually see this is amazing to me, is that Luyendula is actually getting pushed back by Kushiro up 3-2 town center. At one point up 4-2 town centers, and he's getting pushed back. So he's not in actually a position to help at all. And this forward build is huge. Like just imagine if he just had like 2 catapults coming over here. That would kind of require quite a bit of attention, or at least Bellerophon, I suppose. But yeah, Luyendula getting pushed. Still making Slinger. Which is too bad. Because Sun Tzu, outside of that one unfortunate fight that he took there, played a pretty good game, but completely let down by Luyendula. And he's got good upgrades. He's got pretty much everything, just -1. But the Zeus late game push, and now we got towers in the trade route, and now Luyendula finally has his trade upgrade. Age of Towers, and even upgraded walls and everything. Oh, we have a catapult. He found the catapult button. But I think it's looking kind of over. Random siege ship in here. Guess Blue must have had a dock. But see, this is kind of in the end stages of the game. At this point, it's just too late to fight back versus Ulysses, who's up 4 town centers, has towers in the trade route, which is really destroying things. We have Luyendula still just auto-queuing siege towers and slingers. Like, he's got 2 barracks auto-queuing slingers. He's got 3 barracks making nothing. He's got an auto-queue of camels and upgraded chariots as well. And things are just about over on this side. Well played by WKT though. This hold was pretty good by Kushiru. And Ulysses as well. He's able to get that big fight at the forward town center. Destroy that early army of Hersier. And then a really strong push through in Age 4, getting up the towers to help secure. Would like to see maybe a few more forward buildings. His barracks units are kind of coming from pretty far back. And wow, that is he's making quite a few. Medusa as well. We'd actually got a couple Medusa in on, looks like a couple fire giants, so that's some value there. But yeah, so Kushiru has taken his 3rd town center. We'll slowly push through Luyendula probably, because now this trade route is slowly getting killed. Just like Sun Tzu, slowly getting killed. Still no catapults to get on this or anything. Typical Loki. Eco upgrades. Yeah, Odysseus with the very strong late game push. Keeping his Bellerophon busy as well. Comes in and jumps and runs away, and then will come in and jump again, probably. Do the throwing axeman or just run in. Kill a caravan or something. And if somebody in chat could help me out here, the purpose of this unit composition. Priest Slinger? I just don't see the value of it. I mean, he's up Ptah and Horus, which gives super strong spearmen with all the myth unit upgrades. And spearmen do a lot. I mean, they kill all sorts of stuff. Never had good eco. He didn't have good eco because he was incompetently wasting it on slingers and priests. At some point you just have to stop your auto queue. And just move. Imagine if those slingers were catapults instead. How much more damage you would have done. I mean, the slingers is basically just a waste of resources. Because, I mean, they're doing 2 damage a hit on pretty much everything. I mean, he's not even microing them. So this is SOEE map. This trade is just dying here. And this trade is getting just completely messed up down here. Ulysses with a Titan. Going full on Titan there. Expect a wonder soon. Joel Sven, hello. And Loke has also followed as well. We're in the very end of this this game, and we've got 4 more to go over still, and which is including game 2 of this match between SOEE and WKT. And we've seen really good play from Ulysses here, and actually even Kushiro not bad either. To stay kind of even with the late game Egyptian. That's pretty solid. Again, we just got I just can't take it. We actually have this push that's kind of ended slightly. I kind of wonder if Odysseus or Ulysses just has too much. Well, he's only at 160, 180 pop. I think maybe the problem is just a lack of actual military building forward builds. He's only really got 2 and then 2 way back here. And in fact, he's only making military from these 2 barracks. But we'll see him as he gets these up. Yeah, we do have the Titan as well. I mean, the Titan is just kind of the definitive end. Okay, they did clear up this trader out here. It was all blocked up on each other. But Ulysses still forward building. Lots of towers, and now we've just kind of got pure Helipolis with a few Myrmidons mixed in, and the Ballista as well from the Loki. So Sun Tzu doing everything he can, but needs help from Luyendula. Yes, he would have back in the olden days. And there is no sort of side push or anything going on. It's just a strong push through here. Would like to see just a few more like actual military units from Ulysses. Like the siege is great and all, but the siege is just kind of going head on against throwing axemen. But Luyendula has resigned, losing late game at one point up 4-2 town centers, and that is GG. So well played by WKT and Sun Tzu. I just can't say the same about Luyendula. Just kind of strange play, strange unit composition all game. I mean, he has a pretty solid economy, but he's just making the wrong units over and over and over. And when you have auto-queued Slinger that just keep dying, that's a drain on your eco. And like, we have late game where he's now finally getting like some military upgrades and such, but just a little bit more support from Luyendula, and this would have been a SOEE win, because Sun Tzu was in a really good spot against WKT. But his economy got really shredded here when Kushiro came in and destroyed both his back town centers, along with ox carts that really slowed Sun Tzu down. We'll quick look at the post game. I'll also update my scoreboard. So WKTA gets its first win of the series, and we will have game 2 in a second. Team stats, looking at military. Let's kind of compare when the settlements. So the settlements came down, and this was okay. Green settlements going down way back then. It seems like more recent than that, and that's also when. Let's see. Well, military units, they're actually okay. I mean, the problem is, though, it's Luyendula's barracks units is kind of making his military look stronger than it is. I mean, 43 units, but when 30 of them are priests and slingers, that's not a good army. To the point where we can see that he's like way out popping Kushiro, to the point where, I mean, we're at 36-9 military, but then you just see Luyendula's armies just disappearing. And that's just the unit composition. Just if you would have slowed it down a little bit, put some catapults up when he was way up here, get some catapults, maybe wall off a little bit, take the time to kind of change his army composition, maybe get a few technologies instead of just wasting units, he would have been able to either push through or get to a position where he's able to help Ulysses. But that is that. So game number 1. And I don't want to seem like I'm unnecessarily beating down on Luyendula. I mean, I'm just saying it like it is. It just not a great game by him, and it wasn't really because of, you know, like pressure from Kushiro. I mean, a lot of it was just unforced errors. I mean, just bad unit composition for the most part, and then just kind of wasting units, kind of the downside. You're old too? Hey, I don't have any problem being called an old man. So game 2, which is actually going to be a 3v3, so that's cool. And on Medit, so yeah, WKT loves to choose Medit. So 3v3 kind of switches things up a little bit. And we've got SOEE on the bottom. We've got Sun Tzu. He is Thor. Luyendula is Gaia, and Supernova is Gaia. On the top end, we've got WKT. We've got Ulysses as Zeus. We've got Kushu Izumi as Uranus, and then Three-Eyed Odin is Zeus as well. So 2 Zeus Uranus versus 2 Gaia and a Thor. I'm just looking at the god compositions. They obviously benefit WKT pretty heavily. You got 2 Zeuses for 2 restorations on the water. That's huge. You don't get a ton of value out of a Thor on this map. Gaia can do some work. Green is maybe Grand Monster. I think he is, because he played for them as well earlier. I think that's Grand Monster. So he plays for WKTB. So maybe this is whoever Shenanigans is. It's one of the AOM guys that plays for WKT. I just forget which one. Whoever it is, he's pretty decent. But Medit, there's not really a whole lot to say about it. I mean, it's pretty straightforward every time. It's just a big fight over the water. And then generally, whoever gets the initial early advantage on water will use that to get town centers and get a stronger land eco, and then we'll use that to take control of the land. So you can kind of, a lot of times the meta is kind of declared the victor by like the 10 minutes, and sometimes it'll kind of slowly drag on after that. But it's typically whoever gets the early water advantage moves on to land, gets to town centers, and then they will eventually out eco and out push somewhere. With the Zeuses, you got double restoration. You also have double underworld, and SOEE doesn't have any sort of like late game god powers that's really going to help them. I don't really understand the double Uranus. Probably should have had at least somebody go as Zeus, but I don't know if Luyendula or Supernova can play Greek. I guess that's maybe it. Maybe they're Atlantean only players. I understand maybe one Gaia, but you could kind of use an Uranus for Vortex to react to an Underworld late game. So kind of surprised to see 2 Gaia, because that is one of Gaia's downfalls, is the lack of Vortex. Can those guys play on either WKT team? No. The player lists are kind of supposed to be set in stone. Especially if one player plays for one team, then they can't play for the other. There's sometimes a little bit of shuffling allowed, depending on like how the player rosters are going. Like say one WKT team is really struggling with activity, they could potentially move one of their players that hasn't played to the struggling team as far as activity. So it's allowed, but once they play a game for one team, they can't play another, because that kind of defeats the whole purpose, I suppose. But yeah, Gaia not having a Vortex in team games really does hurt. Yeah, I just don't know which one. It's one of those guys. I don't know which one it is. I'm not sure. Well, the Voobly is hardly accurate, the flags. What are we looking at for age ups? Oops, that's the wrong thing. Athena, Prometheus, Oceanus, Handax, Freya, Oceanus. That's nothing unusual. It's kind of a quick age up for this Oceanus at 418. That is kind of cutting away at 1 Villi and advancing a little bit faster just to get a little early pressure on 3-eyed Odin. We'll see how the Thor does, though. Yeah, there we go. They want to forest fire TC. They could forest fire this one. Actually, kind of beneficial that the Atlantean spawned in the middle because they kind of have a hard time getting a line of sight for it. They just have to be careful. If they cast the forest fire next to the temple here, if it does enough splash damage. Ooh, the shockwave. He does have line of sight, though. They do. They have line. Oh, you don't have line of sight enough to cast. That was a big shockwave, actually. Because without a shockwave, they can get in on this. But not quite enough line of sight. And actually, you have the Caladria as your backup line of sight getter. She's right here, but I think Luyandula has kind of lost focus of the Caladria. I mean, that's kind of the thing where you kind of have to have a backup plan if your oracles get killed. I mean, you got the bird that can just fly right up, and in fact, you got 2 birds because you have both of them going up. Or you have the Valkyrie that you could use later on. But Luyandula is facing a double now. Is he quite in range? Oh, he's not quite in range to get his auto attack off. Yeah, it is too late. I mean, it could still kill that town center, which is still of value. And the bolt was used on the Carnivore there. Sun Tzu has been a little bit out of position to the point where he's allowing Luyandula to really get doubled heavily. And now he comes in, and we might see like a restoration. Yep, restoration to help out. Carnivora was bolted on this side. The restoration will help. Oh man, Luyandula is losing all of his boats. Probably should have not fought this while he was getting doubled and just retreated back until Sun Tzu could show up, because now Luyandula doesn't even have an army. A little bit of a Minotaur trying to do some damage as well. Yeah, they could have done some damage with that forest fire on the town center, because you're right. But two forest doesn't actually double the damage. Forest fire is capped at like 2,400 damage, I think. Somewhere right around there. So the fact that you'd have another forest wouldn't help. It still would cap at 2,400 damage. But yeah, it's too late now. It's the point. And now we see Sun Tzu is taking a 2-on-1. And now Luyandula is coming up. No, the length doesn't matter. It's all about once it reaches the cap. That's why it can't kill a non-Atlantean town center, because it only does about 2,400 damage. They could Carnivore as well, you're right. But one forest fire will get one Atlantean town center. But adding another forest doesn't help at all, because it doesn't increase the damage. Actually fighting back against this decently, but now Supernova is way behind. Had to make quite a bit of a land army to fight the double hero and centaur annoyance. And we might be seeing some town centers getting grabbed by WKT. Yeah, so Kushiro is grabbing his first town center. Just because they've been on the advantage for so long, able to freely fish. No idle fishing. Not having to replace a ton of boats. So first town center grab by Kushiro. And it looks like Ulysses might be going for his one. Yeah, the Valkyrie has been sitting here as we say she's AFK. Here she comes. But you'd like to have used your Forest Fire definitely by 8 minutes, because at this point you're just not getting any value out of it at all. Three-Eyed Odin would probably be grabbing his... Oh, might spot this though. We'll actually spot it. We'll see if Sun Tzu notices, and looks like he's just coming here to check the town center. And we'll kill a Vil, and there's no hero to help out actually. So one Vil dead. Getting at the other one. Big fight here. Do we still have a restoration? Oh, we have one of them went ceasefire actually. Shadinho, what's up, man? Hey, you were playing good last night, by the way. You kept winning. But yeah, you playing good. We were getting our butts kicked. So SOEE kind of pushing back a little bit on water, but at the expense of having to remake so many boats. And fighting in the middle really doesn't provide any sort of benefit. It's more so when you're getting boats idle and stuff, and they're not doing that. So ooh, we really needs to come up and fight though. We have purple a little bit out of position. And oh, this is a triple. Oh, nice shockwave actually. Gets a few boats killed just like that. That shockwave actually killed like about 4 boats, which is pretty solid. But yeah, we've got a big 3-on-3 here, but SOE is behind boat numbers, but quite a bit. So not a fight they really can afford to fight. I'm not sure why Teal is retreating. Okay, finally have a nice Carnivora placement. Gets the insta-kill and then sucking up some damage, and that might actually turn this fight, maybe, in their favor. Purple running, no. Yellow just has no boats, and red kind of going like way all in now. Never mind the fact that yellow's army has been destroyed and purple has gone back. He's still fighting. And we have just WKT is ahead and grabbing town centers. Kushir was at 3 town centers. Ulysses at 2. Three-Eyed Odin at 2, and then only one that has a second is Supernova with an idle one. This Carnivora was okay. The first 2 Carnivoras got bolted. With enough speed, it's kind of hard to, if you react quick enough, it's kind of hard to get a ton of value out of the Carnivora, but it can do some work. It's more so like you cast it behind the boats when you're like at a fight here so that they can't retreat, but then that's also requiring you to like start pushing them back. Like it kind of works as your defensive mechanic once you get here, or it works when you're pretty close to their dock to kind of help pressure, but used in the middle of the water you don't get a ton of value out of it necessarily because it's easy just to like maneuver away from it. But as I talked about earlier, is the team that gets the initial advantage on water is able to turn that into the initial first town centers, and then are able to get their bigger land boom while the other team is having to fight back heavily on water, to the point where we see that SOEE is quite a bit behind in all categories. More people play on Voobly or Steam. It's probably pretty even. As far as like multiplayer, I mean, there's probably quite a few more single players on Steam, but it's kind of, I don't know, a little bit half and half, and then you also have people playing on Game Ranger as well, which is, the 3 platforms is kind of the curse of the Age of Mythology community. And Luyendula cannot grab his forward town center, which is too bad. Senate Edition is getting that new patch. Hopefully it helps things. I mean, it's really mainly the performance that needs a help. But we have one citizen that is dead. And Supernova actually was able to get his 3rd town center. He's actually in a decent position against the Ulysses. That Valkyrie on that town center did slow down Ulysses a decent amount, actually. His first town center grab was slowed quite a bit. Supernova won't be able to. I mean, there's just too many vills here. And probably won't even beat the hoplites anyway. Just maintaining a little bit of pressure, I guess. Oh, okay, the carnivore will slow it down, but Odysseus is right there too. Oh, you don't want it hitting the Vil though. You'd like to get it in on the town center. And yeah, these term are getting picked off. Kind of the curse too of being Gaia is you don't get that Arano speed boost. Meanwhile, on water, we have Luyandula is no longer fishing. Sun Tzu is no longer fishing. Only Supernova is fishing, but even that is probably at its last fishing efforts here. This fisherman will have to pull up their lines pretty soon. And Three-Eyed Odin, meanwhile, is way ahead of Luyandula. Luyandula still only has one town center. Three-Eyed Odin is grabbing his third. We'll probably just end up moving forward and grabbing this one as well. And just WKT so far ahead economically, and it's not like SOEE has any sort of late game gods that could like change the game around. I mean, two Gaias and a Thor against Zeus Uranos is just not happening. They upgraded centaurs. You don't really see that very often on Mediterranean. Probably just due to the excess of wood, I'm guessing. What kind of stuff is getting researched? We're getting H4 Helios already for Kushiru. H3 Theia for Supernova. Three-Eyed Odin is up. Apollo as well. So yeah, WKT is just way ahead. And poor Luyandula is just so far behind. Teal might just end up going just for like some sort of vortex to like back here or something, or it doesn't really matter. But the only matchup that is even is Supernova versus Ulysses. Otherwise, Sun Tzu is decently behind Kushiru, and Luyandula is way behind Three-Eyed Odin. Does, for now, actually have a slight military advantage, I would say. I think Luyandula would win this fight if he were to fight it, which he will. Chiros will do pretty good, and yeah. So Luyandula didn't micro his... Oh, nice shockwave, though. Luyandula last game didn't micro his slingers at all, but we see him actually microing his... Oh, now with the mana core coming in, that'll save the fight. Yeah, that shockwave turned that fight around. And then the mana core coming in will definitively win it. These three lone boats, even though SOEE has lost water everywhere, he's still got a few lone boats out here just causing problems. But oh yeah, we had our vortex here that I missed. So vortex down here just to really mess up Sun Tzu's economy, it looks like. Not necessarily getting a whole lot of value out of that. Is Sun Tzu even age 3? No, Sun Tzu is still age 2. So he's gonna have a hard time like countering this at all. I mean, we just see so many idle vills. Like actually, the vortex in the gold mine was pretty huge. Kushiru getting a titan as well. Like Sun Tzu is trying to come down here to a gold mine here, it looks like. But the teal army is just following him along and killing villager after villager after villager. And if Sun Tzu is even able to fight off this army, they could just have another vortex right here as well as soon as the army is dead. Just re-vortex. The Hika Giganti is a very, in my opinion, an underappreciated myth unit. Does a ton of damage. I mean, just look how long. You just got so much value out of that. And even still raids on here. Yeah, Vortex just such a strong god power. Very useful in team games. And is typical also for now the Vortex on the other gold mine. Not much of an army to Vortex though. I mean, it's not a whole lot. Kushiro maybe has too much on the water. Well, we do have town centers in range of water on this map though, so maybe that's where the army is. And he's also making a Titan gate as well. Supernova using Implode. Implode always an impressive god power to look at. Not necessarily so good for results, but it's fun to watch everything kind of circle in and get sucked in. We'll probably finish off that half-built fortress. There it is. It's some decent damage in on the units. And we'd like to see this army come down here and maybe finish this off. We actually have Supernova playing, despite losing the water. Played pretty decently. But you should have had this army ready to come in and kind of finish that base off. But on the back end, we actually had Supernova losing his back town center, which does hurt. And Red is getting pushed into his base. And we have a Titan that's coming in that won't be able to be reacted to. And Sun Tzu is still stuck in H2 at 20 minutes in. So that's not good for him. And now that the army has showed up, Supernova is pushing Ulysses back. Doesn't have really any sort of like the instant kill. Vortex the Titan. Now that would be awesome. And we have the third Vortex is used here. Kurshu mainly just using this Vortex just to keep purple and yellow busy on the back end. Maybe not a whole lot of value though out of this last Vortex. But definitely got value out of the first one for sure. And really it's just a delay tactic. And we have an Underworld being used in the back as well. And this is where not having an Uranus to Vortex to respond to this just really hurts. Because Supernova really has no response to this other than to try to sit here. But these myth units will cause some absolute mayhem back here. And Red has lost his base. SOEE just delaying and delaying the inevitable. Oh, the Citizen Massacre. A forest fire just used just because. Could have used it here to at least get some damage in on the Underworld. Well, the Villies are all dead. I wonder if Ulysses will just hop into the Underworld with his Vills. Yeah. They're safer down here anyway. Oh, what is this? Oh, the Man of War. The damage that the Man of War does is just so awful. It's such a terrible myth unit. Like all Mythic Age myth units, minus the Jormundelver. Well, SOEE maybe a little bit of BM here. Okay, now we have the resign, about time. And that'll be a 2-0 victory for WKT. So first game was pretty even. Second game, WKT, they play really well on water, typically. And just able to push through the early restoration. Slightly better god choices. If SOE maybe gets that forest fire Gaia on the enemy Atlantia Town Center early on, it might have turned out quite a bit differently, but they didn't, so we'll never know. Economically, we'll probably see quite a huge, actually pretty even, pretty long into the game. I think maybe Ulysses, was kind of way behind. But military kill loss is where it's really going to hurt. We see our three, well, these two are way ahead, and even Ulysses, who was doing the worst on his team, is still dead even in kill loss. So that is a 2-0 victory for WKTA. So real quick, I'm going to go over kind of our Division 1 standings as we got two very important matches coming up, which is DoD versus JSS and DoD versus UCA. So I got this little screen here with our Division 1 leaderboard, and now I have to update. So WKTA is 7-1 after that 2-0 victory over SOEE. So, oh, dang it, I messed that up terribly. And I've got their records up here. So these 4 teams are competing for the top 3 in the division. Top 3 go to the playoffs. UCAB looks like they're maybe out of it, but that's not true. They've played against JSS, which neither WKTA or .A have. And actually, when you look at the matchups that they have left, we kind of all have to play each other still. JSS still has to play WKTA and .A, and then they'll pretty much get 2 free wins against TMA. WKTA has DoD and JSS left, so that could potentially be like 4 losses for them, which would put them all the way down to 7-5, which could be pretty big because UCAB has SOEE to play, who they can't play well SOEE, but they just kind of underachieved this season to the point where they're getting swept by every one of the good teams. JSS 2-0, .A 2-0, WKT A 2-0 them as well. So SOEE has lost 0-2 to all of the top clans, and then they still have UCAB to play. So yeah, we see a lot of our high-powered matchups still to go to where these 6-0 records are going to disappear, and even the 7-1, and they're going to be more towards the UCAB. So if we can get some 2-0 splits in some of these big name matches coming up, that will be huge for these teams. So the next, yeah, I also expected SOEE to perform better. It just seems like their teamwork is kind of out of it a little bit, where they had some pretty good teams early on in the season. But like Cyclone, really good. Like I think it was DoD that they lost 2-0 against and could have won 1 or maybe 2 of those games. And even I think JSS also was one or two of those games they lost that with just a little bit better teamwork they could have won. Same thing for like WKTA. I mean, they should have won that first game. SOEE should have, but they didn't. So the next game I have is DODA versus JSS. The one downside to this, though, unfortunately, is one of the games was saved and restored, so I can't watch that one. So I will check the result of that after the one game that we do have. So I've got just one game to watch for JSS versus DODA. And then we will move on to our last match of the night, which is UCA versus JSS? No, UCA versus DoD. So I've got 3 DoD games coming up. Real quick, I am going to put it on just an overlay, and I will step away for just a minute, and we will be back. So DoD versus JSS coming up in about a minute. I'll see you guys then. Alrighty, so let us get into our next game here. Oh, Queen Zimbabwe with the follow. Are you really from Zimbabwe? So JSS versus DOD. And let me update my overlay. And we are ready to go. So JSS DoD. Unfortunately, just one game, but here we go. Bunch of good players too. Anatolia. I don't mind this. This is probably DoD's map. They like to pick Anatolia, and the team we are looking at right now is JSS. So JSS, really good players. They're not quite as active now as they kind of tend to be in the past. A little bit inactive, so that kind of eats into their skill level a little bit. Like, I mean, we saw Chef here with kind of some Idleville for a little bit, but we've got Chef as Zeus, and we have Count Von Count as the Thor, as a pocket, and Miracle Man with the Gaia. This is a pretty solid Gaia map, better than Medit. Lure the boar. Yeah, is luring the boar. Got it pretty close to the town center. That's really about as close as you probably get. Because animals have a certain distance, so like their spawn is probably about here. They have a certain distance where they can run before they'll turn back, and this is about the max where he would have gotten it. It's about as good as he could have gotten. So that is JSS anyway. And on the bottom, DoD, we have Shelty as Loki, and then double Isis, Joe, Isis, and Fox, Isis. I mean, and when you talk about players, Joe, Fox, and Shelty, really solid, really solid. I mean, this is one of the best teams you'll see. But JSS, you maybe not quite so familiar with them because they're not quite as active, but these guys also really good and also really play well together. In fact, I would probably say that JSS, just from the games I've watched compared to DoD, would probably have slightly better teamwork. Not to say that DoD's teamwork is bad, not at all, but JSS just, I don't know, there's just something about the way they play that they just typically play really well together. Which even this season they've played really well. They're at 6-0. They defeated UCA B 2-0, and that's not. The UCA B is a really good team too, but they actually like beat them, as I recall, pretty handily. The Anatolia, it's a fun map in team games. It's really big. Because the players are in a straight line and aren't like in typical maps, kind of spawned in kind of like a circle or semicircle. There's a ton of room between the players, and that makes it can be pretty wild mid to late game, depending on what's going on and where the fights are. One big thing that you'll want to see in the middle is Cyrus's Thor. Yes, you're right. The one thing you'll want to see from your Thor is back builds. Your Norse benefit on this map, because it's so big, is to try to get back builds. However, one thing that's going to be hard for him is that if he's back building over here, the Egyptians can just react with some mercenaries. But the trade route is huge, and that's why DoD picks this map, is because Egyptians rely on the trade route, and in team games, your trade route gives you even more resources than a 1v1 because of the ally trade bonus. And with the way this map is formulated, you pretty much have a safe trade route without having to do anything. I mean, build a market here, and you're trading it here, and how in the world is JSS going to fight that? It's almost impossible. The only thing that can fight it is the Norse back build. So if the Norse wants to do back builds, which is even going to be hard because he's got a Loki, like, you try it maybe on this side, because if he goes over here, it's two Egyptian mercenaries that are just waving, just mercenaries coming at the town centers. Forward town centers aren't too far forward, not actually far at all, which does help a little bit for JSS because the trade route typically gets so big for Egyptians. It's going to be hard for the Egyptians to really have a lot of mercenaries in their fight. About the only location will have some important mercenary fighting is down here, where these town centers could kind of, especially if they go up with Hather, I guess, with the mercenary upgrade, is get mercenaries up to fight here. But you don't want the Egyptian to steal a town center, because then they can defend with mercs. It is important to note that JSS double docked on the bottom and DoD double docked on the top. Typically, you'll see the side that only did one dock, so Fox is the lone docker on the bottom. He'll probably eventually get pushed off, but he's doing the right thing by just massing docks, which is going to make it take so long for Miracle and Count to fight. We'll probably see Miracle going water and Count going land, especially once they realize that there's just one dock down here. And as we see it, Count is forwarding right in the middle of the map. Chef could get beat down a little bit though. It depends on how fast DoD fights. They should really try to push Chef up of water as quick as they can to the point where maybe both of them build some boats. And yeah, so Count is just grabbing a town center. Miracle Man is putting the pressure on water. So that's kind of the optimal play for them. There's really no point in both of them building more boats because they're not going to kill all of these stupidly cheap Egyptian docks. I mean, just look how many docks he's building. Holy cow. And it's more of all you want to do is just do some raiding. And you are right. In the past, so each team gets to pick a map, and that's from pretty much any map in the game. You used to see quite a few odd maps, like a long time ago. And nowadays, like in this season, I don't think we've seen one non-standard map. But it used to be pretty common. I remember back in 2005, 2006 era, there was one clan that would always pick River Nile for their whole map and just do a Titan, or do a Fast Wander every game. And they weren't very good either, but they kept winning those games, and it was really making people mad. Well, people whined then too. It's just nobody cared. It's just like, oh well. Alright, so yeah, we do see both Joe and Shelty making a little bit of boats. Chef needs to be careful. He lost quite a bit of hit points from that Fox with the Prosperity. Maybe like to see Miracle putting a little bit more pressure on the fishing here. Instead, Miracle is just grabbing a town center as well. We might see... Yeah, I don't know. You're right when you're talking about substandard maps. It's a great way if you're not that good of a team to pick those maps and win. And we have Shelty on land a little bit. And Chef is really losing water fast. He probably should have fought water a little bit harder than what he did. I mean, this is all the boats that actually Joe is a little bit outproducing. He needs to stop his boats. He's making too many. A little bit overproducing on boats. We might see Count doing like a semi-fast rag, maybe, because that's kind of the Thor play on this map. It's pretty standard. In fact, when you talk about watching old recorded games, that's what happened in DLX versus TOL. And the recorded game that I watched last night was the Thor doing a pretty quick rag based on huge fish eco. Now, I wonder what Fox will choose to do. In fact, yeah, that's definitely what we're going to see Count doing. He's grabbing 4 town centers, but needs to be careful. The Hersier raids can hurt. And Chef is off of water pretty much now. A lot of more boats getting put in by Miracle Man. I think he's anticipating Joe, or not Joe. I think he's anticipating Fox fighting. Which doesn't look like he is. So Fox does have Eclipse, Joe does not. Yeah, keep it for the Titan. And Joe did outproduce a little overproduction of boats, just slightly. But Chef is going to have a hard time doing a whole lot, though. Shelty, his army is way down here. If Chef pushes, he could kind of demolish all of his houses and stuff, which is pretty big when you're a Loki or any sort of Norse. So right now, I think DoD is getting the bad news that their town centers are getting grabbed. Yeah, so Joe is maybe a little bit slow to age up. Yeah, he's not aging yet. This is a slow age up for your pocket ISIS. And Chef doing what he can. If these Hersiers stay over here, it's just gonna hurt. Because he is losing, will lose all of his houses. He'll have to rebuild in his temple as well. And has not really gotten much value out of these raiding Hersier yet. He is up Bragi, which... Oh, this is a nice wall too, actually. I like that wall. Sending his army down. He's definitely going to be trying to go for kind of a semi-quick... flaming weapons, Ragnarok. I feel like Fox should have built a few warships to help defend, because getting pushed off of water is going to hurt him. Now they will kill that town center, I think. Gotta watch out. You want the Hersier on the myth units, though. I think he's hoping to get out Ancestor's Eclipse here. He's not going to, and now he'll retreat through the wall. What this town center does, though, is it does slow down the Fox push quite a bit. And, oh... Ouch. Chef was a little bit too far forward. Should have realized once the Hersier disappeared from over here that they were probably going to come back here to help out. And now he gets his entire army surrounded. Yo, what's up, Greek? Oh, wow. The turn and fight here actually killed a little bit of stuff. I think he got both myth units, which is pretty good. So count is up Bragi. Chef is in a, actually okay. And see, Joe is allowing count to... Or not count. Joe is allowing Chef to fish from 2. He's getting 6 fish still, which shouldn't be happening. And meanwhile, Miracle Man is on 3 town center. It's kind of happily booming. He probably has got all of his eco upgrades. Nope, not yet, actually. But this is actually slowing down DoD quite a bit. And I would think count would be up mythic pretty quickly after his heroic jump. And for some reason, Shelty is kind of behind what he should be. The problem is he didn't get any value from his raiding Hersier. Like, they didn't do anything until they finally came here. And so despite the fact, oh hey, you ate 2 burgers and you got back from soccer. Don't have A&W. Used to. It used to be a kind of a thing around here. Oh, the Locust. Not a lot of value. With the way the Locust nerf has gone, you don't get a ton of value out of it without using it anywhere. Now we have the Ancestor's Eclipse here. I think he's just trying to kill Vils, but I don't know. You're using 3 god powers, and they killed, what, 1, 2, 3 Vils, and that's about it. Where is Chef's army? Oh, right here. Dying. Chef's a little bit, again, too far forward. But, again, keeping Shelty busy. Shelty's up with Tyr. Oh, are we going to have a fight as soon as Eclipse is over to see who can get Baldur or Tyr in first? Because Tyr will block the Ragnarok. The question is, will Count use it right away? I think he has to, because he's not getting much value right now. So we'll see if there's a race to see the either Fimble. Oh, the Reagan just before the Fimble winner. She's illegit into you. Yes, yes. Does she play AOM? What kind of a Vil count is it though? Only 80. He probably should have not grabbed 2 of these and instead grabbed one of his back town centers, because it did kind of hurt his villager. But okay, so we got 2 wolves up here. This is damaging Chef's eco. The other wolves are here. Whoa! 4 citizens. That hurts. And the other pack was there, so you always second guess yourself. Oh man, oh no, not one of these things. Her fault is that she's dating you, apparently. DoD is a little bit slow to get their trade route going as well. I'd like to see it a little bit more than what it is at this point. So we'll see what kind of value we can get out of this rig. The problem is that Chef is kind of way behind. He lost a lot of units, and we've got a flaming weapon. It's probably what's going to happen is Chef wants to... Count should have sent a pack here. We might see a ceasefire. Okay. Shelty probably should have saved his flaming weapons and almost waited for Count to use it, because then if Chef wanted to survive, he would have to cease fired his own allies' flaming weapons. So probably a little premature flaming weapons, because I mean he was going to win this fight pretty handily anyway, and now his flaming weapons is gone, and we'll see what benefit Count can get. I don't think he had enough rag to make this worth it though. It was only like not even an 80 vil rag actually. It was a 72, yeah, only like a 65 vil rag, which wasn't what it needed to be, so I don't think he's gonna get enough out of it. And in fact, he can't come here because that's too fortified. Where are all of his rags? There's some down there. But yeah, he's okay getting some vil kills. But DoD is getting their building upgrades, which is important. And now we have Count with his flaming weapons. These chariots, though, will kind of wreck those down there. Miracle Man probably a little bit behind where he should be as well. I don't think he got his eco upgrades fast. In fact, he doesn't even have a second eco upgrade. Okay, so he does get that town center. What is Count's armory? Pretty solid, actually. Chef is kind of... there's just so many myth units coming. Count probably should have donated a few of the rags to his buddy Chef, just to kill the heroes that spawn. But Chef is actually holding decently. The question, though, I don't know if Miracle Man will be able to withstand the Fox's push. So Chef actually holds off that onslaught. And we have the Rag actually doing quite a bit of damage to Shelty on the back end. And all of Joe's army is just down here dedicated to destroying this build. And oh, we have this back build here. He has to try to keep a back build alive. Chasing these villas across the country. Shelty's armory upgrades not so good either. Making a lot of wolves. They need to get at that town center. The one thing that's really going to hurt JSS is the lack of trade. Because trade in team games is much more efficient than gold mining. So you want to get your trade up as soon as you can. And oh, look at this army coming in on that town center. Should be enough to get it. In fact, fortified town center is coming in too slow. Miracle Man using the Carnivora just down here. Oh, we had a little bit of a... something happened down here. I don't know where this army is going. Looks like he's maybe trying to build there as well. But that will kill that town center, which hurts. DoD definitely in the driver's seat. Count with down to just one town center. I mean, he does have some fish, but on the double side, I actually have Chef is still fishing, but just never taking out Fox's docks. Like, could have been a variety of different things that you could maybe do as a Thor here. The fast reg isn't a bad idea, but maybe not grabbing both forward town centers because they died so fast. Probably should have grabbed this back one at some point. Kind of get a little bit more of a boom. And now we have some defending regs. That's going to finish off these wolfies pretty quick. And yeah, this town center won't go down. In fact, yeah, I don't think Shelty noticed for a bit. So his wolfies are dead. Miracle Man still age 3. And does not even have his second fishing upgrade. That hurts. Chef does. It's kind of actually winning the water. Like, Chef has played this pretty well. I don't know how they let him get back on the water, but he's actually not in a bad spot for kind of being on, you know, the receiving end of a double on water. I know he got a lot of help from Green as well, but I don't think, oh, Miracle Man, because he doesn't have a trade route, it's going to have to try to find gold somewhere, and he's not going to be able to find it. And Miracle Man is going to have to be kind of fighting a double for a while. And count, if he moved those reg up here, he would be able to defend this town center. But he must have forgotten they were down there, which is really too bad. Because if he can defend that, then that would allow Shelty to come down here and help out. But just not quite enough value out of the Ragnarok, and Miracle Man probably just not quite where he needs to be either. I feel like economically it's just a little bit too slow. Doesn't have, well, he does have channels, but just JSS overall was just too slow to get their trade up, and it's the point now where the late game Egyptian with the massive trade routes, you just, what can you do against it? Joe is up with Thoth. Now you realize he's reg here, but Count losing his forward town center, isn't still just at one town center now. Still has a bit of a back build, but we're at the point again where I'm just mercenaries can just kind of endlessly defend, and they're really, I'm kind of surprised that Joe just isn't massing mercs or something. He's got 1,000 gold. He could make quite a few mercs. And Miracle Man is kind of forced to be fighting on two fronts. Joe did use Meteor. I completely missed where Meteor was used. Like, completely. Where did he, oh, here. Oh man, he used Meteor on Count's town center. Was able to get it down because Count didn't have any building upgrades. So the economy for Count is not coming back anytime soon. And he's trying to keep this trade block going. It's actually going pretty good. I don't understand the lack of mercenaries. Count had 0 town centers. Chef has won the water. We got the War Turtle Hydra battle here. The 5-headed. Not Hydra, Skilla. It's just absolutely massacres. And Chef Chef played well. Upgraded, not even that great of upgraded units there, but yeah, there's nothing they're going to be able to do to push that, and now we have Fox is up Mythic, we have the Chariots here, Chef is up Mythic as well. We gotta watch out for these vills, they might just get unknowingly spotted. And now we're having the waves of mercenaries, but these... the little wall here is confusing all of the caravans because they know they can fit through this hole here, but because the first few are stuck, the rest are just kind of piling up. And that's kind of the downside of your trade. And it's actually big, this trade block. It's actually doing quite a bit of damage. Which could help, but oh man, Count's base is just so close to falling, and Joe has kind of firm control, and you can't expect the guy to double fight. The only thing is if Chef doesn't even have Underworld to come somewhere. Like the problem is that Count's base is gonna fall before Shelty's does. Like Chef should really consider defending and building here because this is about to be over down there. But really nice trade block going on for Count. And this is really the main value you get out of like a late game Thor is this trade block. But it looks like these Vills will finally finish off the hill fort, and that will likely be the end of that base. Well, maybe. Here comes a siege. JSS actually kind of staying in this longer than I expected. They're playing pretty well late game, but yeah, this is gonna kind of bottle up the Zeus here. We have Chef with the Secret of the Titans, gathering gold from the Thor gold mine. And this should not be happening right here. The Count should not be able to get this town center. Man, this JSS has actually taken the score lead. And it's kind of on the back. We had a Tartarian gate here that I never showed you guys. It's kind of on the back of this trade block, which was really hurting the Egyptians. And we have a pretty solid push here. A lot of buildings to wade through. Chef has a lot of armory. And this town center should not be getting built by Count. To the point where Joe is actually panicking and sending his Vills forward. Because Joe had to just put so much army towards cleaning out this back build here, to the point where he didn't even actually clean it out. You still have the back military buildings, and this is just the value that you get just out of. You don't even have to have pop here. The Norse can just have a few buildings, and it requires so much attention by the opponents, because you can't leave these buildings here, because you leave them here and you get what's happening now, and then the Chariot's got to come back. And this town center not quite getting up, but Joe, oh man, this game is getting spicy. Fox is pushing on this side, but we've got a huge push over here by Chef with a Titan to follow, and we had just a bird coming through, so no meteor or anything. And Chef is putting in some work against Shelty, who doesn't have much left. His trade died through this trade route, and he doesn't have any gold, actually. Miracle Man, not too much eco. What is purple? Yeah, Shelty has nothing. Nothing at all. And I don't know why they aren't helping over here. Well, Shelty did lose his, he lost 2 town centers in this one. And he lost his, like, losing the water was actually gigantic over here, because Shelty didn't have the villagers to back it up. So Shelty's base is falling, and Joe is going to have to kind of fully defend. And, okay, they finally cleared that back build. There is no more forward. Oh, we have another build for Count, and it's going to be in the trade route again. And we also have a Titan that could potentially come down here and maybe secure, well, Fox has his own Titan gate. The question would be, will they be able to block? I don't think this Titan will get down here in time to save that. but Shelty is falling fast. And again, we have a build in the trade route, and this is getting to be a very well played game by JSS. Winning, oh, deleting the Hydra, or the Skilla to get pop. That's 5 pop he's getting back. Shelty is nowhere to be seen. His base is getting destroyed. He has no eco. Shelty must have lost a ton of his gold miners that I never quite showed. Getting a bit of a push here. How's this Titan Gate coming along? Do we have any sort of like surprise attack coming in on it? And Miracle Man is only at 2 town centers as well. Chef is 200 pop. This is your player right here, is Chef. Definitely the MVP. Would like to see him get his upgraded siege. Chef getting Weapon of the Titans. No upgraded siege, but he's going to be at 6 town centers soon. And this Titan coming down, yeah, they know they can't get this Titan killed. And they're going to have to defend this push here. Because this trade block is going to be huge by count by count, like gigantic. And in fact, we see it looks like, I mean, they're not being able to trade with this anywhere. No, it is not against the rules of Wonder. You can Wonder, unless you were to have chosen non-Wonder pre-game. So I don't know if they did or not. But so they can't trade. Like, where's Joe's trade route? He has no trade. Like, Joe does not have a trade route, and gold is running out. Like, this is the last gold mine. But the problem is, they need to hold this, because this is a trade town center. The Titan needs to come over here and help defend. I mean, unfortunately, we also have Fox with his own Titan. But killing these fortresses isn't where he needs to be. That Titan needs to come up here. Because if you clear this out, you're basically in the same game state as down here. But this trade block is... And we still have this here. Still have this back build that he rebuilt the back build. And kind of this half of the map is split off from the bottom. And we have the battering rams on the town center. And Count Von Count, like, his army, even though he ranked, he's like kept his army going, and this entire side of the map is just getting destroyed. To the point where this push here is just too slow. In a game that I thought that DoD was in pretty firm control of, JSS has really played well. I mean, defeating 2 late game Egyptians on this map is not easy, but it looks like it's going to happen. I mean, Joe is down to 2 town centers, and we'll be just a 1 town center. And GG, Shelty is called. Wow! What a game by JSS. This was really well played. And that is GG. Wow! That was Chef. Chef played that really, really well. And DoD not pushing him completely off of water. Let him get his economy back to the point where he has water, and he pushed both Joe and Shelty off of water. Like, they kind of undervalued water a little bit too much, did DoD on this side. Which, that's kind of like, we saw Shelty's economy just disappear, and that was about the same time that he lost on water. And that was, I mean, you can't really say like DoD played this badly. It's just that JSS played it really well, and their teamwork is just so good. I mean, this back build on the trade just did so much damage, and basically kept Joe busy at where he could have like pushed through and come up to a Thor that had ragged and blocked this off, but instead he had to spend so much effort defending this that he was never able to attack, despite having this forward build. And at one point, I think did he ever get this town center? Maybe he didn't ever quite get it, but that was a well played game by JSS. Wow. After the reg, I did not think they were going to win, because the initial damage with the reg wasn't that great, but the back build kept it up, and just the fishing allowed him to continue to make Ulsarks, and he was getting a lot of value out of his back build Ulsarks. What kind of, I mean, he has probably the Bragi. Yeah, he's got the Bragi upgrades, which makes them really solid. Plus 16 hit points, more damage against cavalry, and just having the fish. I mean, it only takes 3, 6, 9, 12 fish, and that's huge. I mean, if we compare economy, we're very interested to look at Sheltie and count economy. And yeah, Sheltie's economy, just losing the fish and losing, I mean, look at, this is losing probably the time he lost the fish, and I think he also lost his gold miners as well. Like, let's look at the gold toll. Yeah, this the trade block, and if we get it up to, yeah, we see you start getting trade block, which is, where was the rag? Right here, and this is when the trade block, like normally in an Anatolia, about this point is where you see the Egyptian trade is going way up here, but with the trade block, the trade never got going to the point where the trade block continued, and no more gold for DoD, and JSS wins, and that was a solid victory for them. So the bad thing is that I can't watch the second game because there was a save and restore. So that's what really hurts. Did they give resources to count? That's a good question. Oh, 18 resources distributed. I'm sure that went to count. And the miracle also 4,000. So this even puts Chef even greater in the MVP. In fact, I should have maybe tried to keep track of that earlier, but 18,000 resources to Count von Count, who was, I mean, then that was why he was able to keep up an army despite only having 25 civilians for so long, is that he was getting resources. You can see that actually with his resource graph going up suddenly. That's when his economy getting tributed. So 18,000 resources tributed, along with likely 4,000. So 20,000 resources tributed, and that's likely what was keeping von Count in the game and keeping that trade block. So again, shows the there that Chef is giving that much resources and still solidly winning his side of the map. Well played by Chef, and Count and Miracle Man just kind of kept Fox busy long enough for this side to win. So, man, that was a solid game. So, I guess what I'm going to have to do is take a look at the other result for JSS versus DoD, and just tell you guys what happened in game 2. So give me just a second. I'm going to put it on our little overlay here, and we will try to look at JSS versus DoD game 2. If JSS can get that other win, they've essentially will have clinched playoffs and potentially even first place maybe. But let me see. I need to look at the schedule and see without trying to get spoilers for this last game. So JSS versus DoD was round number 6. So let us get to round number 6 in the standings or something. And Division 2, round number 6. So JSS won the second game as well. So JSS swept DoD, and I wish I had that rec to watch, because that first game there was great, but I guess the second game is Medit, so not a big deal. But so I'm going to update our scoreboard here and put JSS gets a 2-0 against DoD. That's big. So we'll move that up. So they still have to play WKTA, and TMA is essentially a free win. So JSS is in the playoffs. DoD at 6-2 gets their first 2 losses. So it's 6-2. So now we can definitively say that JSS is going to be one of our 3 playoff teams in this 4 teams. And now we have DoD, UCA, and WKT fighting for that second and third playoff spot. And our last 2 games of the night are between UCAB and DoD. So if UCAB loses 2 games, they're out for sure. Most likely. The only way if they lose 2 games, if they'd be able to come back and make the playoffs, is if WKTA loses to both DoD and JSS 2-0, which is possible. So that puts a huge amount of importance in on this last game of the night. UCAB will have another win most likely coming in against GDM. That game hasn't been played, so it's the mainly is UCA versus DODA, and SOEE could potentially, if SOE shows up for the last game, they could potentially do some damage. But yeah, that's TM. Oh, you're right. That's not A. That's B. My bad. Whoops. Look at you. You're really looking at that score sheet there. So JSS in. WKT, DoD, and UCA maybes. 2 of these will advance, 1 will not. So let us change our scorecard here and get to our last match of the day. .A versus UCA B. B and TMA. I think they did play a 4v4. Just for kicks and giggles. Okay, a little bit of magic with the thing. So we have our Chronos players on the top, Nyan Racing Cat and Swiss Boy, and we have our Raw players on the bottom, Fox and Joe. Neither Fox and Joe are like pure Raw players. Fox is generally ISIS, and Joe is generally ISIS and Set. And Medit, of all maps in the game, Medit is probably Raw's worst. The reason for that is that Ra doesn't get any sort of god power that helps winning on water. It used to be pre-patch, you could do a shifting sands and like take a citizen, and that would help out immensely. Now you can't take citizens, so you don't get any value out of your shifting sands. Your Eclipse you don't get any value out of early. Your rain obviously doesn't help for water at all. And age 3, it's not like you're like ISIS and you get Ancestors Eclipse. You'd get a Locust, but that's not immediately helpful either. We have our first deconstruct over here. I wonder if they'll double up and deconstruct again. Just to slow down Joe. Like, I think the Chronos versus Ra here, I don't play today. No, after these last 2 games, I'll be done. So sorry. But Chronos v. Chronos, yeah, he is. They're going to double deconstruct this dock just to slow Joe down. And they want to try to get it deconstructed before these boats can drop off. And deconstruct, 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 deconstruct. Get it, get it, get it, get it, get it, get it. Come on. Oh, he's too late. They should have done it right away before the drop-off could occur. Yo, what's up, Bozone? But because Chronos has the deconstructs, this deconstruct isn't of much value because the villager's already building. But it does slow down boat production, I guess. Very strange build here. This is too many on gold. The Chronos can just get so early pressure. And in fact, if they double time shift on one side, which is probably what they should do, they can really clear out a ton of docks along with 2 more deconstructs, and they can essentially make it a 2-on-1 on water. And even though the Ra can fall back and do farms, that's just not very efficient. It takes a while for the Ra to get going to the point where the Chronos would be getting 2 and maybe 3 town centers and just out ecoing. I don't like the Ra into Chronos here. I feel like even just doing a set or ISIS would be so much better. Because the set you could do like a forward shift and like forward shift all your animals on a gold mine, or just do double set. But of all the Egyptians, Ra is the worst on Medit. So I don't know why, since it is free god choice, why you would pick Ra. Ozone, do you have anything to say, or just Just kind of the basic JJ. Swiss Boy is aging. Oh, they're worried about villager rush. That's what's going on here. That's why they're not time shifting forward. But again, the raw players don't have line of sight. So I don't think the villager rush is something you really need to worry about. But that's why there isn't any time shift, is that they're worried about a Philly rush. So Nyan Racing Cat is up, Prometheus, Swiss Boy up. Neither Joe or Fox or well, Fox might have just hit the age up, but yeah, Fox is aging up. That's standard. Joe will not be age. This is a very slow. 530 is a slow age up. Okay, Swiss Boys use Valor just to help defend. Yeah, they're really watching out for the Vil Rush, but I don't think you need to be that scared. Counter barracks coming up. I think you're getting more. Look at all these docks, so just cancerous. Getting some early harass. It'd be nice to get your Oracles of Promethean forward. That way you can push on the docks and at least kill a lot of them. Do have one monument. Well, actually, both of them got monuments, so they might be trying to transition to like a farming strategy soon. Need to stay back. You can sit here and keep the boats idle without actually taking dock fire. At this point, they should start kind of going forward. They're not getting any value out of this, staying back so far. Yeah, I don't know why they were so scared of the villager rush. Let's watch your buildings. Are the Egyptians even going to grab town centers? No, they're not. Or, I mean, fish. No, so they're grabbing town centers and will not be fishing. And they really need to start killing the docks, though. Just being careful. This is kind of the standard raw play on this map. It's tough to win water, but when you're like Swiss Boy and you're losing your boats to docks, that does hurt. And I mean, when you're talking about how like they need to just put them on stand ground. I don't know why they don't have them on stand ground. You just stand ground and put them on the fish, and then just completely prevent them from fishing. The one bad, see, just keeps like, look how much damage his boats have taken. And Fox hasn't even built a single like warship. And Fox with the first rain, he probably should have waited until Joe was ready. Does not even have plow. Does Fox? Ooh. You also do not want to use rain before you have plow or husbandry. And that is really going to hurt this rain value. That is painful. I don't know why they're still sitting in their base with their armies. Like, at least come forward and like attack the docks or something. But yeah, you need husbandry for your rain. It does almost as much value as the plow does. Slower Chronos units, you don't get a lot of value out of raiding. The Egyptians do have one back gold mine each. What husbandry does is it gives villagers an extra 15 carry capacity on food. Now, for farming, each villager moves 4 times. They will move to the town center. Well, say for this vill. So, villager moves from town center. That's one movement. The villager will then move twice within the farm. And then will move once more to drop off. So 4 times. The 4 times does not change for husbandry. So essentially, the villager moves 4 times for 15 food, or will move 4 times for 30 food. Because rain improves the gather rate so much, you get more value out of it when they're actually gathering as opposed to walking. So when husbandry doubles your carry capacity, it's almost kind of gathering, almost not quite twice as much in the period of rain, but maybe 50% more, I suppose, something, if you just throw out a number. And that's why husbandry is so valuable as farming. Because they move 4 times for 15 food, or you move 4 times for 30 food. And being able to have more time gathering while your rain is going on is huge. So it actually does, I think, might have more benefit than plow, which plow does an additional. Plow gives a 22% to farming for Egyptians, because Egyptians start off with a minus 11% penalty, and plow restores that penalty and also gives another 11%. So we have Fox as the first to age up with Hathor. Still does not have husbandry. I think you can kind of see he's not a raw player by trade, because any raw player will tell you, yeah, you need husbandry for rain. And Joe is got husbandry now, but is upping quite a bit slower. And we have our Chronos players are just ecoing, and dang it, Swiss boy forgetting his fishing ship upgrade. That hurts. Also allowing Fox to fish. So this game will be closer than I thought. The Chronos players a little bit too worried about Villager Rush. Don't think you get. I don't know why they were so worried about the Vill Rush. They should have gone forward and they would have had 5 minutes of forward fighting with their Promethean and Oracles, to the point where all these docks would be down by now. And instead they aren't doing any sort of land pressure at all. At least not yet. And Fox is being able to grab his 3rd town center. Joe might have a little bit more difficulty with it because he advanced so much more slowly. And we still do have deconstructs, where if Joe tries to start forward building his Migdols, he'll have some trouble. Do need to note that there are no forward gold, or no more back gold mines for Joe. If he wants gold after this, which he's got, I guess, still 4,000, and he's building his Migdol very defensively. Careful of your boats. Swiss boy still has not gotten his eco upgrade for fishing, and that's pretty important. And actually, Nyan doesn't have any land eco upgrades yet. So 3 town centers, 3 town centers, 3 town centers, just 2. We've kind of got a very slow Medit, which at least this Medit has kind of turned out differently than our other Medits. And it looks like, okay, so Joe is getting a very early trader out. I think he realizes he might need that. I don't know where. Oh, he's trading with what in the world? Why did he send it to that town center? A lot of heroes here. He's going to try to get in on that alligator, but repositioned nicely, and the rock is coming in to help out. I'd like to see maybe a few Cataspeltes. I know you typically don't see them, but Murmillos still do some pretty good damage to camels. And yeah, so this first initial fight will go the way of Swiss boy. Though now he needs to retreat. You got the mercenaries out. So retreat, 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 retreat. You got mercenaries. It's not worth it fighting mercs. Not worth it at all. Joe might have a little bit of trouble. I don't know why he's trading with his own town center, too. That doesn't make much sense. And they can deconstruct this Migdol. Oh, we see some Cataspeltes over here, and this random... Oh, that's his... Yeah, we'll see the deconstruct on that. The Pharaoh will be able to hold this for a while, though, because this one behemoth is almost dead already. And Joe does not have an army, to the point where this side currently doesn't really matter. And Joe is in a bit of a trouble just because he was kind of slow to age up. And here comes some mercenaries. He needs another... Oh, he doesn't have pop. Oh, the shifting sands. Where did they shift it to? Oh, the middle island. The army shifted the middle, which actually it's not a terrible thing for Nyan. I mean, most of these units are pretty low. Oh, and Joe is fighting back on water. Actually, that's why he has no land army. He's doing a huge fight on water. This is okay. And I think again we're seeing the point where a little bit undervaluing the water too much by UCA, and too many Terma. Non-Aranos Terma are not very good, and not a single Cataspeltes to be seen. And we have one more Behemoth coming. Like, have they not noticed this? Because they have some boats that aren't... Can't afford to get pushed off of water like this. And a lot of food getting put into these Behemoths. And now Joe has kind of fixed his trade route. Or, has he? Yeah, he has. Where is his market, though? Oh. Is Joe trading with himself? That's not good. Alright, so Fox is pushing Swiss Boy back. These units are still stuck. Oh, he did build a transport ship. Well, it's really not of any value at this point. Yeah, I don't know why UCA is just giving up on water like this. And 9 is up Atlas, which that is Vortex. Vortex not quite as much value in a 2v2, but because Nyan doesn't have, or Joe doesn't have an army, I'm going to say Nyan could Vortex, and I actually thought he would Vortex here. And it does result in a shift from Fox, which now Swiss Boy can attack. They don't have a deconstruct. So that shift will kind of pretty heavily counter the Vortex, but that's just one Vortex used. And the shift of the entire army really hurts. And Joe without an army can't like counterattack. And that town center won't quite go down. Splitting of the Behemoths is a little bit of a mistake here. They should either go for one or the other. Probably the Migdal first. And Atlas also for Swiss Boy. So both are getting Atlas for Vortex, and we see Joe with the Son of Osiris. We'll probably see another Vortex from Nyan. Here comes Osiris. He's a bad dude. We might see another Vortex down here. Really wants to get this town center, and he will. Needs to get in on Osiris with all those Arcus. Okay. Valor and Trader. Trader on the Mummy. Get the Mummy on the Alligator, though. Mummy on the Alligator, my man. Alligator, Alligator, Alligator. Son of Osiris doing so much damage. This game is close. It's really all about this pressure right here. Alright, so Swiss Boy with the Trader, and then insta-killing the Alligator. Technically a crocodile, I think. This is a strong push by Swiss Boy here. He needs this. You don't get quite as much value out of winning water late game, though, because no town center's in water range. But now we have quite the counter push from Nyan. So Nyan is Vortexed here. And Joe is responding by doing a villager rush. Doesn't have any building upgrades. And that is one town center down for Fox on the back end, and one town center down on the front. And Joe is, yeah, they're out of their gold mine, which is why Joe is coming forward with all his villies. Crocodiles live in sewers, I don't know, maybe. And Fox is in a bad spot now, because Joe doesn't really have much of a counter push. A little bit of one with his Vil Rush here, but he might end up killing this with the villagers. But we'll lose a lot of villies. In the meantime, Fox will probably lose his main town center as well. Oh, Son of Osiris coming down. Might save it, though. Oh, yeah, he's going to save it. Oh, Sonny boy, where are you going? I guess he'll still save it. It looks like he has no building upgrades. Needs to keep this down, though. What the heck? He vortex like almost... He vortexes... I don't know if he should have vortex, because now this town center is going to go up. And now Joe is grabbing the forward town center, and Nyan's going to be pretty shaky at this point. I think Nyan just wants to stay on the trade route, though, because right now Fox's only gold source is the trade route. Needs to keep the Arcus on the Villies, though. Does he have... Oh, he does have all the building upgrades, though. I don't know if he's going to get this town center down. It's going to be close. He's only got 2 more destroyers left. I don't think he's going to kill it, and that will hurt. Not killing that town center, and Joe will be able to get the forward. Now he's getting a gold mine here, and we have another vortex up here. Okay. Trying to get in and surrounding the Son of Osiris. Oh, I don't think that was the way you wanted to punch the Son of Osiris. Kind of helped him get out, actually. Oh, that hurt. The Hika Gigantes playing for Joe there. But is up 4 town centers to 2. DoD does have the score lead now. Okay, yeah. Get a lot of value out of your trader if you can use it to, like on a mummy, insta-kill another unit. Oh, Osiris needs to be careful. Get in the siege tower. There you go. Oh, his gold mine. I don't think he knew that they went there. DoD might have to do like a wonder or something. Because that down 4 to 8, what is it going to be? 8 to 4? Town centers, just population-wise, it'll just be so hard to push out. And if they know that, do they have any line of sight? They don't have any line of sight of that. So those vills might be able to stay there for a long time. Maybe which side of the trees will these go on? Oh, were they cut through here or cut over here? Oh, wrong way. And now do we have any vortexes? Swiss Boy does still have 2 vortexes. He'll probably get some value out of his other vortex. I think they're trying to get maybe line of sight here. Because he can't really push too well through here because of Osiris. But Osiris is almost dead. But Joe is pushing back on this side. He might almost need to do a vortex to save his buddy. Needs to get in on the vortex. Swiss Boy, okay. I don't know why players get flaming arrows instead of like other upgrades. You don't really get... Flaming arrows doesn't do a whole lot. Like, it's good for like ballista, but like normal units, flaming arrows is almost kind of pointless. Fox just needs to be really smart with his Osiris, but he might lose it here. But now the the Arcus will... Yep, okay. Running back. Yeah, Swiss Boy, okay, here's his siege. And he does have upgraded siege as well, so that's good. And, oh, he does spot out this. But Joe is pushing back pretty heavily, and this Villy... Oh, it just survives, just barely. And yeah, Swiss Boy needs to get siege. He might end up getting a few siege and doing another vortex in the back here. I think he'd get more value out of trying to push, especially because this town center is only half built. But yeah, that Son of Osiris is almost dead, and so is this one. And once they die, that is a pretty big... Oh, the vortex here. Okay. Alright, well that's gonna kill the son of, or it should kill the son of Osiris. And again, Fox can't respond with the attack of his own because he doesn't have the population, and Osiris gonna hide. The Vil's all coming up here. Trying to get on this last gold mine. I'm kind of surprised they need gold that badly. I don't know why Joe is trading with his own town center. Like, you don't get your allied trade bonus, and also neither player is empowering their market. As Ra, you should always be doing that. So Cyrus, you got out. I bet this dude knocked him over the forest. I'll bet he did, because how else would he have gotten down here? Wish I would have seen that. So Cyrus lives, and not a lot of value out of that vortex actually. But these vills are kind of stuck to the side and will die or have to retreat. And okay, Nyan is taking back water. You know what? Where's his dock though? He doesn't have a dock. It's kind of weird. And Joe just can't push. So like, DoD just at the point where they just, he just walked out the back of the Migdal. Oh, yeah, it shouldn't have happened. DoD just at the point where they just can't get any sort of army because they have no pop, and their trade routes also kind of suck to the point where they have to put a ton of resources into their trade route. For example, Fox is getting 88 gold out of his, and Joe only, well, that's 69 out of his, because he's not trading with himself, so he's not getting the trade bonus, so that's kind of stupid. And now Osiris is dead. This town center will not go up. There you go, get on that, and they'll probably be stuck at 8 to 4 town centers. And even though you have the super powerful late game Egyptian, it's still so hard to fight back when you're at 20, 40, 60, 80 pop disadvantage. And we're getting a push back, building the mirror towers for some reason. And building a Titan as well. And UCA is going to get a much needed win over DoD in game 1. And if they could win game 2, that's huge. And that would almost put DoD, the clan that would potentially be out of the playoffs if they lose the WKT. Which is very surprising. Yeah, I think it kind of eventually goes back to the God choices. Is double Ra. Tough to win double Ra with unmedit. All these pointless flaming arrows attacking this monument. Look, I mean, flaming arrows. Is it possible to do a wonder? I think if you chop down the tree, I think there would be room to build a wonder there. And Joe still fighting back here. Nyan not doing quite as well as Swiss Boy here. We're getting 202 gold for that, and Nyan is getting 142, but still that's like almost double what DoD is getting. Have I ever done it? No, I don't know if I've ever seen a wonder on the main island in Medit. Oh, what's this? Oh, a rock drop. A 3 catapult rock drop. Won't get a lot of value out of that. Still need siege. Would like to see him get his siege upgrades. Helios gives some really good siege upgrades. But also could cost a lot of favor. I wonder if he saw line of sight of that. And he definitely does now. I mean, he had line of sight. I wonder if he noticed is the question. The rock will succeed. They do have locust as well, just to kind of slow down. Now the question is, will Swiss Boy notice this? Because theoretically, if left alone, these catapults... Oh, no, he notices, but they do have the rock. Could actually almost just locust this. And keep the catapults... Yeah, there we go. But they will be able to power through and kill one. And should be picking up these catapults. I don't know why he's not picking them up. And getting a defensive vortex. A Titan in the middle of the island too. So it does get out that defensive vortex, which is pretty big. Giving Joe maybe can fight through this. I'm surprised there's no mercenaries. There are the mercenaries. Random Hika Gigantes just wandering through back here. How is Joe for eco though? Oh, he doesn't have any gold, but that's why. It's because of his terrible trade route. You'd be smart to do that. He really needs this Titan to come out. Because the Titan would just be the definitive push on this side. And oh, okay, another rock drop down here. That one catapult is almost dead, so I don't think you'll get it down. And this fight is still just kind of evenly fighting over this town center. As long as Joe cannot get... Like, what's crazy, if Joe gets this town center, he would instantly win his side of the map because they could realign their trade routes and then he'd be up pop. So actually just keeping that town center down is very, very important for 9 Racing Cat. And really the winning condition for Swiss Boy or UCA is just to get this Titan done while this town center stays down. Because I don't think that... Oh, Joe is getting his own Titan. And actually that defensive Titan means there will be no aggressive Titan. Or aggressive Vortex, I mean, on Joe's Titan. There's a little whirlwind here still going on from the shifting sands earlier. Alright, so Titan here, not maybe in... I don't think it's in water range. This catapult rock just wasting pop there in the middle. Okay, Joe starting the Titan gate. This game is taking a little bit longer than I expected. Okay, so there is Titan number 1 out, and Joe will probably get his up in time to kind of defend, but if this Titan can kill this town center before the other Titan can defend, that'll be pretty big. And now we are seeing a lot of mercenaries. We have crenellations. Ooh, no crenellations. You need crenellations for mercenaries because it gives it ×3, I think, or maybe ×4. I forget the exact number. I think it's ×3. Yeah, not being able to vortex this Titan gate means that they can't kill it. Okay, a little bit of harass here. I hope he doesn't forget about this rock, because that is, what is that? 3, that's 8, 11. Who's VC? Titan coming. I hope he doesn't try to get at this Titan gate, because I don't think he'll make it. What's wrong with writing stuff on the map with walls? I like it. But I don't know what VC is. But this Titan should not try to get here. I don't know if it would ever make it. Even though it seems like it's so close, like caravans can like indefinitely block Titans. And it takes a long time to kill caravans because they kind of have unnecessarily high hit points. Now, I like writing stuff in walls. I mean, I don't do it personally, but it's kind of cool. Does he have any of the... Oh, he does have. These are huge. This 13.8 crush damage actually makes the Fire Siphon the greatest siege dealing weapon in the game. We're looking at, what is it, 82 crush damage fully upgraded. That is a ton of damage. The building block, and then we'll see another building block here. The Titan will try to run maybe down here. That, okay. All right. Here comes Titan up here. And will we get the caravan? Is this what the clip is from? Because you can like indefinitely block with caravans for a very long time. And here they come, mobbing him. It's kind of the way the caravan's path is. They're kind of able to like sit on top of other units in a way. That's to allow them to properly trade. But because of that, they can also sit in front of Titans and kind of indefinitely block. Like, he should just be killing all the trade, because at least he's killing trade with this. But we've got 90%, 91%. The caravans can just block forever. Another... Yeah, that Titan's going to come up. The caravan block. Oh, that's so annoying. But will it really matter? We're having a huge push on this side with the upgraded fire siphons. They'd like to see some more towers, and now they're going to block on the other end. The only problem, though, is that he's kind of trade blocking himself now. These are all idle. Just fight the Titan, my man. Just fight him. Just kill it. There you go. Just resign yourself. And Joe is getting pushed back over here as well, so... Cute to get that Titan up. I don't think it will really matter in the end because we've got another Titan. So yeah, now they're just slapping each other around. The Atlantean Titan kind of gets a bit of an uppercut, doesn't he? The Egyptian Titan just slaps. Like, he's just doing the open hand slap, but the Atlantean always does the big uppercut. What a wuss, the open hand slap. That's just utterly disrespectful. And you woke up and watched this guy stream and you're sleepy. Hey, who else is that guy? We had another guy that just showed up in the stream as well, so good to have you along. We are towards the end of the stream. I got one more game after this. This game is dwindling towards the end, though. We had a Kronos v Kronos, or a Kronos Rah-Rah matchup here. Kronos taking water and taking land, and pretty much which Titan is the strongest? They're all the same essentially. I think there is one that maybe has a slightly quicker attack animation that allows it to like win a one-on-one, but they're all the same statistics. No fast forwarding. I don't fast forward, but yeah, Eclipse will improve the one as well. Eclipse is the strongest, but we have another Titan gate coming in down here. Trying to time shift buildings in the back. Is this gonna fall into like some sort of wonder? Gaia did defeat Kronos, you're right. Alright, so this Titan will be able to push through down here. And Fox's base is also destroyed. And finally, Nyan is able to get that town center. And we will see AG. No, that's my rule. Ultra Noob is that I don't like to fast forward the game, so we'll give them their full respect that these players deserve. Though I don't know if you can really respect Ra, but we shall. And this town center will be going down, and the DoD clan will be down to just one town center apiece. Trying to build the Titan, but it's too late. And there it is, GG. Well played by the Kronos players. So that is game 1 to UCA B. And actually, let's put this in the standings. Well, no, we'll wait to update the final standings later. But that jumps DoD A down to 7 and 3, and UCA up to 5 and 3. Okay. I did not fast forward at all. Resources, we have Team Kronos way ahead, mainly because of the gold trade routes that's so substantially better. They're like almost twice as good of trade routes. Military units pretty way ahead as well. Scoreline was pretty even for a while, but just they also will show the settlements, also very important. The settlement differential there. Just DoD for 17 to 14, 15 minutes just fighting at a, well, I guess a 7-4 town center disadvantage, and that hurts. So GG, well played, and we were going to move on to game number 2. and that will be the last game of the night. So game 2, UCA versus DoD, is another 2v2 on Marsh. So this will be, at least for watching, much better. So we started on a Marsh, with the 2v2 Marsh, and we'll end with a 2v2 Marsh. So this should be pretty good. What are our gods here? So Shelty is Loki. Pretty standard for him. And Joe is set. That's also pretty standard for him. Yep, 2 hours and 35 minutes. Actually started a little bit later than normal. So Shelty in blue is the Loki. Joe in the red is set. Swiss Boy in the teal is Zeus. And Nyan Racing Cat is Uranus. I feel like Loki set is probably better for the God matchup here. Uranus Zeus can do some damage, but Zeus generally a little bit slower early game, which will potentially allow the Hersier to kind of run amok on the map and potentially get Nyan Racing Cat maybe rated a little bit early. The set player is pretty standard. We'll just grab a town center. So this is actually a mirror matchup from our first game. Is that our first game was set Loki versus Zeus Uranus, and that was WKT versus SOEE, with the set Loki losing. And now we have the other end, and we'll see. I would imagine we'll see a much better set play from Joe than we did from Luyendula earlier. Aren't Norse the weakest faction? Probably in 1v1. Overall, I would say, yeah. But in team games, the Norse, you gain quite a bit of value out of them. The Norse kind of struggle with the high early pressure attacks, like the Zeus just dominates a lot of the Norse. Like especially like Thor and Odin kind of struggle against Zeus for the most part. But in team games, the map's bigger. That early initial pressure isn't as strong. You also get, because the map is bigger, you get more value out of back builds, which the Norse can do very easily. Fast Wonder is a good strategy. It actually, in my opinion, in team games, you could probably win with a Fast Wonder quite a bit. The problem with Wonders is that they need, the time that you get to win should scale as the players, as there's more player count. Like 10 minutes Wonder and 1v1 is pretty tough to win. I don't know why he is killing a different animal with every single vill. Like, that's so inefficient with the decay. But when it comes to like a 3v3 Wonder victory or a 4v4, it's still just 10 minutes with the map just exponentially larger. So the Wonder becomes a easier way to win the more players there are. Who's better, TOAO-B or Ozone A? Definitely TOAO. I mean, we spawned Thylex, aka Magic. But yeah, you should be able to, I would think in most 3v3s you'd get a defender's advantage doing a Wonder. Let's take a look at the relics. Pandora's Box, not too good. Harder's Line of Sight, that's awful. That relic is just okay. The Monkey Head, not good. Ankh of Ra, more favor. Odin's Wand, Temple's cheaper. And Towers of Cestus, increase tower attack. And the last relic is Gold Gathers faster. Overall, compared to the first Marsh game, these relics kind of suck. And Joe with the 430 set, you'll probably just grab this town center. It's a very powerful position. It gives him this hunt, kind of almost this hunt as well. They should patch the Norse to make them equal to others. Nah, the patch team will never do that. They're biased against Norse. Relic symmetrical number, yeah, there should be 2 of player. Yeah, 2 a player. Marsh is, and actually Highland and Alfheim are every map has 1 a player. Alfheim, Highland, and Marsh are the exceptions. Marsh has 2 a player. I believe Alfheim has 2 a player plus 1, maybe. And Highland, I think, also had 2 a player. I think. Might be wrong on that. But Marsh is 2 a player. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 7, 8. Yep. Is there one more relic? No. This is not the extended edition. This is the original. What is relic he's getting? Temples improvements cheaper. I guess that's saving a little bit of wood for is he doing an aggressive shift? It looks like he is. So aggressive shift on the Zeus. You can do a lot of damage. And right up here on the wood line, and one Vil dead. 2 Vils dead. A third? No, not quite. And saves the Pharaoh. That was solid. Yeah, Odin not... Oh, now he's forward building? So he's forward building after losing his first 2 citizen Vils, and now he's got idle gold. This is a huge mistake. I think this might end up being a train wreck for Swiss Boy. Oh, no, loses another Vil. Oh, that hurts. Oh, hurts. Ouch, ouch, ouch. And now he has forward build. This is gonna be a train wreck for Swiss Boy. I'm forward building a barracks or military academy, I guess, against an enemy Loki. And the set player actually getting a back town center. I guess just wanted to be a little bit safe and not grab that forward one. But Swiss Boy is in a bit of a bind just based off of that shifting sands, which kills 3 Vils. Then pushed off of his hunt and actually has no safe hunt to fall back to, which hurts. And he's also losing Jason, who's getting absolutely demolished by 5 Hearse here. So that's 150 more resources just kind of thrown down the drain. And the set player still annoying. The Herseers doing work. And this is not looking good for Team UCA. Hello, good night, Mr. Ultra Noob. Have a good Monday, Tuesday. You'll see me maybe Wednesday. Why the name is Swiss Boy is if he's from Turkey. I don't think he's from Turkey. I think he's from Switzerland. Yeah, this not looking too good. The Atlantean coming down to help out, I guess, is saving this, but that's allowing Joe to safely hunt forever. He also has a ton of piggies from his early hunt, or early scouting. So once the hunt runs out, he can just fall back and get his piggies. And is this a barracks or an armory? This armory, he'll be trying to age up to age 3. I think making a few axemen just to come down and make sure that Shelty doesn't lose. I can see what UCA was trying to do is a Zeus push on Shelty and just ram through his town center. But I don't think they'll be able to get there in time. Where is this played? This is played on Voobly or Marsh or on the internet. So this is kind of UCA's only hope at this point is to push through Shelty. But I don't know if they'll be able to, because Joe is coming with Axemen, and that will kind of end the push. Plus we still have the Pharaoh and the Priest running around healing each other. Hey, yeah, no problem, Malgowns. Ooh, did kill a dwarfy. Did kill a dwarf, but now is Turbo running right into the hearse here. Need to be careful with the units. The troll is getting pegged by Odysseus. Yes, everybody's still classic age, and they will be there for quite some time, I would think. There's a big push over the gold mine. Nyan's army, not much of an army for Nyan. I'm not sure where it all is. It's coming waving down the map. Would actually be helpful for him. I don't know if it's possible at 64-bit. You're asking the wrong guy. Nyan could actually... Oh, these 2 axemen coming the wrong way. Are we going to see a restoration? Now is the time to restore, I think. Maybe. Because there's a lot of low HP Zeus units. And the Minotaur as well. Yeah, he waited too long to use his restoration that needed to be used there. that was the fight they needed to win. I don't know why they didn't use Restoration. That would maybe allow them to win the fight. But now I think it's too late. Because Joe is just grabbing more and more town centers. You'll be at 3 town centers. Your probably only hope was for that Restoration there. Well, as I say that, they are now pushing back again. Swiss boys' economy just not too good, though. Ooh. Oh, if Nyan could catch this. Joe's got line of sight with this Axeman. The Axemen are trying to decoy the Atlantean army down here, which it worked. So we'll not get in on the Vills. And Joe is at 3 town centers, happily booming. 1 town center for each of the opponents and the Loki. That initial starting gold mine is gone, so even now this push on the gold mine kind of pointless. Towers are upgraded. A lot of Axemen, a lot of Hersier. Yeah, and there's not enough hoplites. Only 10 hoplites, so it's not like they'll be able to push through the town center. So the shifting sands just slowed down Swiss Boy too much. Could have potentially won without losing to all 3 Vills and getting pushed off of Hunt, but just lost too many resources and not good. At this point, they might as well just switch sides. They could probably run up here and kill this town center. And these Hersier are coming in for a bit of a surround. Might have to take a bad fight. Nope, nope, nope. Gotta run back. The Axemen weren't in position. Nyan is grabbing a 2nd town center over there. Trying to get that town center down. Are we going to see a Restoration now? Because this is a little bit of a risky spot for UCA. And they're going to lose a ton of army here. You got to restore. Yeah. Which will actually make this a winning fight, I would think. Just keeps the units at full HP for so long. But nope. Not quite. Well, they're sticking around, but yeah, that fight will end up kind of going DoD's way in that they spent the Restoration here. Yeah, this is UCA map. I think. No, this isn't UCA. This is DoD's map. Maybe shouldn't have fought that Restoration. I mean, they could have just fall back and then fought afterwards. But it's okay, so Shelty is now going to have to switch gold mines because he can't mine here. Yeah, they got a little too bold fighting through that Restoration because they were in such a good position. DoD was such a good position with their armies. But still, that just showcases the power of the Restoration because UCA had no business at all winning that fight. But Restoration allowed them to win. So Shelty is pushed back, but he's done a good job of not losing economy. And Joe, meanwhile, has been safely booming on 3 town centers. And yes, Magic vs Chemo did happen. It happened earlier. There was a show match, best of 5. You were going to have to watch it on the PK Clan YouTube channel. Unfortunately, there was like 3 observers in half the game, so those recorded games don't work. So there will be no way for I was going to like restream the recorded games, but I can't because they decided to like stream it with like 5 observers, so it's ridiculous. And oh, these guys gotta watch out. A little bit of a raid here. Just has to be careful not to run. Yep, there we go. This game is still kind of close, but as soon as the set hits heroic age, which he almost is, Joe can just forward build on this side, and that'll be the end. And oh, we are getting a big strong push here, but there's enough Hersier, I think, to defend this. Maybe it needs to get off the town center now and fight. He needs a meat shield for the range units. Oh. He should have came off of that, I feel like, but still going well. I mean, it is a full-on 2-in-1 these Hersier are fighting. These Toxotes need to fall back, though, but yeah, it's almost... Man. Joe is up Nephthys. And now come the Axemen coming in, but this is a huge part of UCA's army. Nice shockwave to slow down that army. I got every single Axeman. Do they have enough heroes, though? No, they don't. They're going to have to fall back. Fall back, fall back, fall back, UCA, fall back. And now I don't think Nyan will be able to withstand that fight. This fight would have gone so much better for UCA if Swissboy would have pulled his hoplites off and fought the Hersier first and then killed the town center, because the town center really doesn't do a lot of damage. And allowing those Hersier to get in on all the ranged units just killed so many ranged units to the point where killing a town center really wasn't worth it for UCA because of the amount of units they lost. And now we're at a kind of a problem up here for Joe is at 3 town centers, Nyan just 2, and Joe is probably full vills as well, and it's going to be hard. Look at these vills here. It's going to be hard for Nyan to defend, and Shelty just rebuilds his town center just like that, and he has another one in the back. And despite all of the double that Shelty has been under, he's actually score-wise ahead of Nyan. Why did he trader that? The Scorpion Man was almost dead already. That was a terrible trader. Like, might as well just... You're not trader, Chaos. Might as well just killed the Scorpion Man and waited for another myth unit. All this... okay, I got armies kind of looking at each other over this little hill. A lot of Axemen down here defending. And oh, nice raid! Nice raid by the Nyan Racing Cat. But this is a very safe gold mine for Shelty. And a strong push up here. I think Joe still has ancestors. Yeah. Swissboy is up as well. But we've got Iron Jars, Axemen, Hersier... And Swissboy doesn't have enough ranged units. He only has got like 3 Toxotes. Well, a few more down here. And we have the bronze, and now we have ancestors. They're just falling back momentarily to get room. I don't know why the Axemen are killing the town center. They do almost no damage to the town center. Joe's up Horus already. We'll use Tornado up here. I don't know what the Axemen are doing. But that tornado will destroy everything up here. And that's what you can't do, is you leave Set alone, and I know they are trying to double the Loki, but in order to win, they would have had to like eliminate Shelty. And yeah, now the Axemen finally realized that attacking the town center wasn't doing a whole lot. But although Swissboy is kind of holding this double pretty decently, at least killing a lot of the army, Nyan is getting rolled up here because they doubled Shelty and were never able to kill him. And then you leave the set unbothered, and he fully booms out. And I mean, you can't expect the Oranos to be able to withstand this. So it is it. And the H2 Loki push on the town center as well. Actually, we'll eventually get it with Swissboy. We'll probably be able to like kind of hold this actually, but there's nothing to be done up here. Nyan is up Hikate with kind of a low value. 2,000 resources put into that, but it was over anyway. So he even spent the resources on a classical or a heroic age army he wouldn't have been able to defend. And yeah, there's nothing he can do against the 7 siege towers, 4 elephants, Tartarian gate being used over here. Nyan lost another town center. The Loki's got to come back and defend. Comes the Zeus wave of units. Oh, look at these Phillies just gathering just outside a line of sight. Should get out at the town center now, maybe. There you go. Tartarian Gate on one side, Zeus on the other side, Hersier in the middle. We have Bragi up. That'll be a flaming weapons, I would think. Yep. Here comes flaming weapons, and Nyan is kind of dead. Well, this will be a 1-to-1 split, which hurts UCA. They really needed a 2-0. It was nice to get that one win over DoD. They really needed that, but the 2-0 split is what they could have really used. But this is such a hard map. I mean, Set v Loki is such a good combination, and you're playing Joe and Shelty, who are two of the best players right now. It's a tall task to win, and UCA did not. But well played by DoD. UCA, I mean, didn't necessarily play bad. They just kind of out-strategized. I mean, it's hard to win Set and Loki on this map. Well, waiting for the resignations. Joe's eco, what's it looking like? Pretty good. Nyan's eco, what's it looking like? Yeah, it sucks. Not even any eco upgrades. Do I want to look at the Lokis? Oh, better than I thought. And the Zeus's is just average. And Joe is, you know, getting up there in score, and Nyan is getting down there in score. The Petropolis, the lone Petropolis. Let's take a look at the military upgrades. Nothing for the Loki, nothing for the Zeus. The Egyptian is the first line, and Nyan has nothing. Not a whole lot of military upgrades to talk about. Oh my goodness. And that's GG, right as my phone falls down. So GG, a 1-to-1 split. DoD A versus UCA B. So 1-to-1 split. Let's take a look at the post game real quick. We'll see that Shelty, even with so much pressure, really wasn't too far behind Swiss Boy, mainly because Swiss Boy losing 3 Villies early and then getting pushed off of Hunt hurts his economy, and Set happily booming and getting a massive eco, and that is it. GG, well played. So let us update the standings. So DoD goes to 7-3. UCA goes to 5-4. And again, we are looking at Division 1 leaderboard. These are the top 4 clans that are all fighting for 3 playoff spots. JSS has it wrapped up. There's no way they'll lose to TMB. So JSS either has the first or second spot wrapped up. Even if they lose 2-0 to WKTA, they'll still be in the playoffs. So the question is, WKTA, UCAB, DoD. We can see that DoD and WKTA still play, and WKTA also has to play JSS. So WKT could end up with 4 losses out of these last 4 games, which would knock them out of the playoffs, unless SOEE plays spoiler and defeats UCA a few times. UCA still has 1 more game against GDM as well. They should win that. UCA is considerably better, but any game not played is a game potential to be lost. And we are going into the last week of RTS League, so all of these games must be played this week. So I will follow up with the next set of games this weekend, or probably Monday, actually. And hopefully we'll have a bunch of good games to watch. We'll have JSS versus WKTA. That'll be a good match. DoD versus WKTA as well. And then might do UCA versus SOEE. The other division, not nearly as exciting. It's pretty much cut and dry with F2 first, UCA A team second, and then ONU third. But this is a lot more spicy. So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. Kind of a little bit more of a relaxing RTS League recorded game stream. Hope you guys enjoy. We had a few good games. We had a few maybe kind of dragging on for a while, but overall they went pretty well. So I do thank you guys for watching. I'll be at work the next couple nights. No, both teams can be in. I don't know why you think only one can. That's a very old rule from like 3 years ago. So if you were thinking that, so why would you not try hard? Why would you read the rules and realize that the last few years have had a couple teams with 2? So yes, you can have 2 clans in the playoffs. So should have tried, huh? Always try. Yes, for reals. That's an old rule that we changed a while back. Yeah, the problem is those... I don't know why they don't get updated. Actually, a lot of those rules in there are kind of antiquated. But yeah, for the last few seasons, 3 or 4 seasons, double clans have been able to be in double. I mean, it's been announced on the forums that to change, but I don't know if it was ever put into rules, and I don't know why the rules aren't getting updated. Because there's some other things that aren't even accurate in there either. Yeah, so if you guys could win SOEE, and then maybe get a few losses for somebody, like say WKTA could lose 4 games, and even if they lose 3 games, they would be out as well because of the penalties they took for missing scheduling earlier on. But that is it for tonight. I will be back in a few nights, 3 nights I'll be back. So do appreciate those who stuck around to watch, and those later on who watch on the old YouTubes. Appreciate that as well. So thanks for watching, guys, and have a great start of your week. It'll be Monday. So that is it, and that is all. Goodbye.